Okay, hey everybody. We're back with another small side quest line of the March of Annihilation, or sorry, the Tomb of Annihilation West March campaign that Chris, the RP Ginger, set up. Today we have a couple of the players with us. We're just waiting on the fourth player, Thomas. He's having a little bit of hard time joining into the hangout. So we're going to do people and character introductions quickly, so that or not quickly. We're going to, not drag it out, but hopefully we can give Thomas enough time to join in before we start this up. We are doing the side quest, the treasure hunt. I believe Bjorn brought this to Sienna in one of the last missions. Let's just start with, we'll start with Ian, go to Matthew, then go to Charles, and give a quick, hey, this is who I am, and this is the character that I'm playing. A quick rundown, and hopefully by now a lot of people have been watching so that they have a little bit of a background on who some of the characters are, but if not, then give them a little bit of a brief description of who you're playing.
Absolutely. My name's Ian. I'm playing a female barbarian by the name of Menez. That's about it. Thanks.
All right. I am Matthew. I am playing as Sienna, the female wizard, who's somewhat fresh in Chult now and is really looking forward to going on to this treasure hunt, as it is probably one of her second favorite pastimes.
Right, well, I am playing a human barbarian by the name of Bjorn. I am the one that came up with the quest, as in my last one, I heard about that that ship that was supposed to have been wrecked, and I was supposed to be carrying cargo and or treasure. So we're not sure where it is, but we're going to try and find out and hopefully bring us some nice loots.
All right, so we're gonna start with our characters on the docks of Nianzaru. It's early morning. The sun is rising to the east over the mountains.
Trying to join call.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. I had to use my phone. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, I understand. I have to do that more often than not.
We're super glad you could join. Awesome.
Yeah, me too. I don't know what's going on with my PC. Let me try to situate my phone in proper little spot here. Camera read yeah. All right, sweet.
All right, so basically, Thomas, all we've done is character introduction so far. We've gone through Menez, Bjorn, and Sienna. Is it Sienna or Sierra?
Sienna.
Sienna, okay. Thomas, you just want to give us a quick description of Akira and what she looks like, maybe a quick little background shot and why she's in Chult. And I believe she's a new character to the West March campaign, so introduce her to the crowd.
Yeah. Well, Akira is a male character. I don't know. It's a sea elf rogue. He was on a ship and got robbed by some pirates. Ship got ransacked, killed all the crew, pirate captain, and everything. I don't know. He's a sea elf, so he's blue, got light armor and stuff on. However he's looking, I guess.
What she, other than the shipwreck, is that the only reason that she was brought to Chult?
Well, I had reason to believe that the pirates that did it is recited there somewhere, but I have yet to see them.
Awesome. All right, basically like a revenge kind of idea going on in the back end of Akira. All right, so basically we're just starting on the docks of Nianzaru. Like I said, it's early morning. The sun starting to rise over the mountains to the east. The water is calm. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. The people around you are bustling, loading and unloading the boats, trying to get things ready. Everyone's whispering, but since there's hundreds of people in the crowd, it almost sounds like everyone's talking. It's a healthy noise, It's a good noise. You can smell the fish that are coming in. You look out over the water and you're waiting slowly, forever it feels like, for a while, for Captain Ordame, the one who's to lead you through the water all the way to wherever you believe you're going to find this ship that's sunk, the Narwhal, the wreck of the Narwhal. The birds are crying in the distance. You see ships starting to leave the dock. They're untying. The men are running up the planks, starting to let loose some of the sails, and the boats are moving forward. Everyone seems to be going out. The bustle is getting louder and louder in the background, and finally Captain Ordame pulls out of the crowd this short gnome, brush looking, her face a little bit red, her hair pulled back in a ponytail, her first mate standing beside her. Walks up to you, looks slowly at Menez, gives a little smirk. So, where do you think we're going today then? He looks to all of you, wondering where you're taking her boat.
Menez looks over. Menez is standing on the dock, just taking him. Just the morning. She looks over to Björn when Captain May says, where we headed.
First, I'll greet Ordame because I have been with her on a couple of sails, so I'm starting to know her, and I know she's trustworthy, and so I'm happy to be on her ship again. And I will tell her what I know, that we're looking for a sunken ship, probably off the coast between Kitcher's Inlet and the refugee bay. So I'm not sure if she's heard about it. We have Azaka along with us that is probably able to help us find it. Yeah, we're not exactly sure where we're going. We just know that it's somewhere in the area, so we're going to scout around and try to search for it.
Captain Ordame's leathery face cracks as a smile comes across her face. I think I know where that is. I know where the inlet is. We should be able to find it. Looks like a beautiful day to sail. So which one of you is going to be paying me?
Sienna, look how she's in a very disheveled and kind of groggy state, very hungover, as Menez and Bjorn will know from the last night's endeavors at the tavern, and she'll just like, I was like, oh dearie, just tell me how much it is. I got it. And Rig will go, Gah! Too much of drinking. Gah!
Well, I'll tell you what. I know a couple of you. Why don't, all these adventurers in town seem pretty trustworthy, or at least the most of them. Why don't you give me a small cut of what you bring in, and we'll waive the initial fee. I'm thinking maybe 15%.
Rig will, the raven on her shoulder will bristle his feathers off at that and just go, Gah! Little one wants to be greeter. Our gold! Gah! Gah! And Sienna will proceed to hit the bird for being too loud. So she will say, just ignore him. Eat him if you want. I'm sure he'll make a good dinner at this point. Just not so loud, Rig.
Just curious, how much was the payment for those services for Captain Ordame?
Sorry, Ian, I didn't catch that, man.
I was just wondering what is their prices normally? How much does it normally cost?
It would be about $50 to $75 a day, depending on what happened. When we get back, I'll let you know if you owe me more.
All right.
The trip you're looking to take is only going to be about 2 days to get there, depending on how long you want to stay, and then probably 2 days back, depending on good wind.
I will look around. Well, I will tell her that we are more than we would be more than happy to share the loot, but I'd rather discuss this once we're on sail to not have any unwelcome ears nearby. but do be sure that we will pay you your due, and everybody will be happy with what we come up with.
She'll laugh at your funniness. She'll kind of scoff and say, "You know, the best place to hide a secret's right in the middle of the public, eh? But I understand what you're saying. Everybody get aboard." And she points to her ship to the left. The plank's out. The people are getting ready to unfurl the sails, and basically at this point she's just looking at you to see if you want to board and get going right away. And the sun's starting to come up, burning off the mist. The sky's clearing up. It's going to be a beautiful day, but it's going to be a hot one.
Yeah,
I'll nod and go up the plank.
absolutely. Menes gets her equipment and stuff. Takes one last look back up into the city and just like follows you up the plank.
Captain Ordame climbs up the plank. Her men pull it up after her. She walks up the stairs to the back of the boat, takes her place at the helm, and looks to her first mate. As he heads to the railing on the first plateau of the boat, the steering plateau, I suppose, he looks out. All the men on the boat, they kind of look up at him. There's 10 or 12 strong. Captain Ordame's crew is large, strong men, good men, trustworthy men. They look up to the first mate and he starts to yell, "Bring in the ropes! Get the sails down! Let's move the ship forward!" All of a sudden, everybody just starts running. All of the ropes start to come in. They're yelling at each other, but they're moving as a well-oiled machine, one's following the other. Quickly, seems like seconds, and the boat starts to lurch forward safely. As you're cruising out of the bay, the sun's starting to come up higher and higher. Captain Ordame is starting to wipe the sweat from her brow. Everyone starts to run to the left of the boat as you're heading out, and you see this giant tortoise shell bobbing in the water to your left. Captain Ordame reminds everyone that doesn't know that this is Arameg, the dragon turtle of the Bay of Chult. And on hot days, he gets a little bit angry. His blood starts to boil. If anybody has any nature skills, they know that reptiles, when they start to get hot, start to move a little bit more, start to get a little bit more annoyed. As you safely pass Arameg on the way out, he starts to follow you a little bit and then just circles back into his place in the bay. You make your way out into the open water. The skies are clear. The birds follow you for a little while. Captain Ordame turns to the right, starts to pull the boat along the shoreline as you head east. As you go out past this large point cropping, all stone, jagged rocks, nothing looking very friendly, you start to see the jungle slowly creep up in the distance. The boat's probably 2-3 miles offshore. You can see land clearly, but you can't make out the subtle details. As you come cruising around and the day starts to go by, night falls. Captain Ordame is basically still at the helm. She hasn't given up. She hasn't taken her eyes off the horizon yet. Her first mate and all of her crew have been bustling around, making sure the sails are down, the ropes are taut, everyone's safe. But the water is very calm. It's nice. It's a great ride so far. As the ocean or the open water sprays up off of the bow of the boat and splashes you, the mist hits you, the day doesn't seem so hot. All of your cares kind of seem to waft away. As you come down around the shoreline, you see the inlet start to come up on the second morning. Captain Ordame states to Bjorn, "Well, there's your inlet, Sonny. Where do you think this boat of yours is?" The rest of you start to slowly wake up on the top of the ship, and it was a beautiful night to sleep outside, so you all did. Half of the crew slept outside as the rest mopped the deck. Bjorn looks up to Captain Ordame. It doesn't look like she slept at all yet. Her eyes constantly on the horizon, following the stars at night. Always staying close to shore, but not too close to be seen, or at least seen by any detail. Bjorn, where do you think this boat of yours is?
I to Zach's confirmation if she has other information, but I do know that it's towards a refugee bay. So if Azaka has no further clue, then I would say just towards that. And try to keep our eyes peeled.
Yeah, Zaka would look at you and she would basically say, I don't know, you might as well ask the birds. I've never been out here in the water. I can tell you what's in the jungle. Gordon
Can
starts doing large circles in a 50-mile radius, having the idea that they might be in the right location or at least waiting for more information.
can see? Oh, sorry.
Well, do it. You
Can Sienna send Rig out to, like, scout around, fly around, see if he sees anything as well or not?
Yeah, absolutely. What's his movement speed?
Movement speed. Let me bring up his stats real quick. He's a raven, so he can fly.
Probably what, 40 to 60, I would imagine.
50 feet fly.
Okay, so I'm gonna say it would probably take like 8 to 10 minutes for him to be able to do a full circle. If you feel comfortable with sending him up, I mean, there's nothing else in the air. The sky's clear. You can see for miles. As long as you feel like that would be a good idea, you can definitely send him. But it would take him about 8 minutes to be able to scout all the water and scout the shoreline before he got back to you.
No, she will.
while this is going on, Menez has spent a lot of time below deck with the navigation tools, just trying to make sure with the map that it's we're in the right location. He comes up on deck and says, takes this Rati map and points, shows it to Akira and says, Akira, what do you think? From what I see, it should be in this direction. And like, points out to the side as she shows Akira.
That was to you, Akira. He was basically showing you the map and seeing if you had an opinion on where maybe this boat could be.
Do I know any layout of the land?
Basically all you see is the top of the ocean. There's nothing else around. You're pretty sure it's deep water. You can see the tree line about 2 miles to the right, to the starboard. Other than that, there's no discerning marks, land points, other than the inlet. You could always do you do a perception check, I guess, but other than that, there's really nothing to know about where you are.
So is there any way I can do like an intel check to see if I can figure it out?
Yeah, absolutely, you could. Yeah.
Do I roll or do you? I thought you was rolling.
Yeah, just give me a d20 roll and then add your intelligence modifier to it.
All right, hold on. I gotta grab my dice. I thought you was rolling first.
No,
Just 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I guess while he's doing that, Sienna will ask the captain what she knows about the narwhal, if she heard about it or anything.
All right before I answer that, what's Bjorn doing at the moment? To help, hopefully, survey the water or to figure out where this boat is. What's Bjorn doing at the moment?
I will just be like walking around the edge of the boat and try to look to the horizon if I would see anything that would tell me that there might be like either maybe rocks that the ship could have hit and then sink in, or but just a quick thing, when Menes would have shown the map, Bjorn would have mentioned that there was an island a little bit off the coast. I'm not sure how well it is known by the captain, so I will ask Odin as well. But would it be possible that maybe during the night or something, the storm, they would have gotten lost and maybe they would have hit the island without knowing it? I don't know how big it is, but yeah.
All right. While I'm getting Thomas's intelligence roll, why don't you roll me a perception too? Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, I came up. I only got 7.
As you're scanning the water, as Akira's scanning the water, she can see the current, about 100 to 200 feet out in the boat in between her and the island, or in the mainland shelf. You can kind of discern that, if the boat was coming around here and the wind was blowing strong, then they would be able to get through that current to come out to the open water, and the boat could possibly be somewhere around here. But if they had gotten caught up in that current, there's no telling where the boat could be with a 7. What'd you end up get there, Bjorn?
15 on perception.
As you're looking over the edge for the rocks and things like that, the only thing that you can really discern is that it's very deep. You can't see any rocks. You stare for minutes on end as the crow or the raven is flying around, and Menez and Akira are looking at the map. Finally, when you get up to the map and you start searching about the island and you start talking to Ortome, and Sienna asks Ortome if she knows anything about the narwhal. Kind of peeks up and she says, "Yeah, I knew there were a couple of ships coming by here with cargo, and there was a story of treasure on them, but only 2 ships ended up making it back. And supposedly, from some of the rumors of the really drunk guys, they said that the narwhal was picked right up out of the water. Didn't make much after that, but it was kind of crazy. It can't be true, though. It's got to be around here somewhere. I'm just not sure how deep the water is."
Menez leans forward and says, because the ship's been just sort of like floating around in this in this era, suggest to Captain Automate that we lift the mast and like drop anchor, and that we go overboard, some of us, and check down in this area first.
Yeah, Ortome at this point will definitely agree. She'll look to her first mate and he'll call, "Let loose the anchor!" As the anchor's going down, Ortome knows she has about 200 feet of line. It's going down and down, and the anchor's going down, and the boat's still moving forward. And even after another 2 minutes, the boat's still moving forward. And the anchor's almost done line. Ortome is actually getting worried. She's telling the men to slow it down. What are the rest of you doing the minute or 2 minutes as you see the raven start to fly back towards the boat from the shoreline? What are you all doing at the last moment? We'll go with any one of you first. Give her. As the boat's almost stopped, but not stopped. Their anchor hasn't been able to grab into anything yet.
Menez, I'll just love it out. What she's doing, she's looking over. She can't believe that the boat is still going. The anchor hasn't actually hit. And she basically is now taking off some of her gear and placing it down and taking a javelin just in preparation for in the future when she goes into the water.
Sienna will be sitting like not against the ring, but towards it, like the direction from Rig would be flying back from, and waiting for him to get within 100 feet, because that's when she'd be able to telepathically communicate with him to ask him what he has seen.
I'll stand beside the man using the anchor to help him retrieve it if it needs to be, or just like kind of see how it's going.
Yeah, and what about you, Akira? What is she doing? Well, all of this is happening. The boat's still moving forward. The anchor is almost all the way down. Menez has a confusing look on his face. Bjorn is trying to help the men with the anchor, and Sienna's waiting for her bird. What are you doing?
Probably assessing the boat to see how easy it would be to get back on once I got off of it.
Fair enough. So the bird's probably 200-300 feet away from you, flying at about probably 100-200 feet up. All of a sudden, the anchor grabs hold of the boat, but it doesn't feel like land, and the boat starts to lurch forward. All of a sudden, you feel the boat start to slow down, and then 50, 60 feet off in the distance, you see something almost unexplainable jump out of the water towards Ray the bird. Going up about 75 feet in the air now, and it's still in the water. It's this long, cylindrical, serpentine form. This great, monstrous head on it. Looks like the head of an arrow almost. Large spikes coming out of the crust around its neck. Its beak pointed, grayish blue eyes set sideways on its head. Gets up to about 125 feet before the bird itself, the raven, sees it flying out in the air. It's still in the water at the same time.
Sorry, really sorry. Does someone have a television on? It's really hard to hear. Does someone have a TV on in the back?
Yeah, it's probably my kids.
Maybe if you just mute your thing, then not the TV, but mute your computer.
As this thing almost probably 50 to 75 feet away from where the bird now, its momentum stops. It starts to slowly fall back down into the water. It's oddly falling down almost exactly where it came out of the water and in the same pattern. It has no lean to any side. So the strength rippling out of the cylindrical form of this monster. As its head submerges finally back through to the waves, the water calms, the bubbles start to slowly go away, and the bird now is within 100 feet of you. The water is starting to be so calm, you barely ever tell that this ever happened. And the anchor for the boat still not grabbing anything, and the boat slowly lurching forward.
Sienna will very quickly, speak to Rig like, "What the hell was that, Rig? What did you see?"
Even the bird would have no idea what the creature that just lurched at her was. All she could see was the beak and odd corners of its eyes as its eyes were set so far on the side of its head. She said that even though it was a cylinder, it looked like it was almost pencil thin from the air, and the taper of its nose hid the size of its body. What she saw in the water, your bird saw while it was circling the water, was nothing, just deep, deep, dark water underneath you. As you crossed what earlier Akira found out to be the current in between you and the mainland, the ground started to come up slowly. The water got a little bit lighter. You could start to finally see the sand probably a mile away from shore. And then she said as your bird was crossing the shoreline, trying to sweep back to the boat, the bird saw what it would believe to be almost a crow's nest of a mast sitting in the top of a tree, probably 100 to 150 feet inside into the bush.
Like, Rig, you been drinking a crow's nest sticking out of a tree?
Ah, you fucking bastard, that's what I saw. I don't know, man. I don't know how to play your bird, but that's the best I got.
That's about what he would say. She's like, well, shit. Can Sienna make maybe some kind of like Arcana check or something like that to think of like, how the fuck would a ship be in the trees?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna roll Arcana then, unless you say otherwise.
Ortome, at this point, do you relay any of this information, or is this all in your head so far?
Once Riggs tells her about the boat, she will, talk about it. You're not gonna believe this, guys, but I think I found the boat.
How far away is it?
And she rolled a 16 on the Arcana check.
Okay. Basically, as you guys are, as Menace is asking you questions, and as you're trying to relay this insane information, you can't find anything, or you haven't heard any rumors of how anything like this could be possible. Something so large, you believe not much magic would be able to handle. There'd be no storm. Right now, it almost sounds like the bird's just talking about the mast and the crow's nest. You're not even sure the boat is over there, but there's nothing that you can concern or discern that would make this even plausible.
I guess as she's like thinking about this, Rig will be the one like kind of plop down like a barrel or something near Mayonnaise and goes, "Gah! I found the boat. It was on the land. Tall as a tree it was, up in the trees. Ah!"
Menez runs her hands over a scar, and she says, looks to Björn, Akira, and Sienna, and says, "We could get in one of the side boats and go in the direction to where the land is."
Yeah. During this time, Orme is already bringing up the anchor. She's commanded her crew to bring up the anchor, and she's starting to slowly edge her way towards land in disbelief, but believing that this might be where you want to go. Sorry for interrupting.
Bjorn would just shrug off and say, "I think that's the best option we have right now."
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so as Ordame, Captain Ordame looks to all of you. Are you guys really gonna go look for a ship on the land? Is that what you want? Really? Is that what's happening?
Sienna will look to Artemis and like, as annoying as he is, Rig can't lie to me. He's my familiar. He can't lie. What he saw is what he saw.
Ordame would look to Akira. You're used to being on the water. You know how crazy this sounds, right? Like they're gonna go look for a ship on the land. Like what? Are they nuts? Are the people you hang out with nuts?
Well, it just might be, but I believe the bird.
All right. So goes to half sail, and they start edging towards the land. She gets over the current. Starts to be able to see the sand underneath the water as she gets closer, and she looks to all of you at this point. She's kind of still in disbelief, and she's like, "All right, I can anchor here. You can take the longboat. It's not going to fit much more than the five of you, but you know, with monsters like that, if I gotta go, I gotta go. I'll be back, but I can't tell you how long it's going to be. But something like that in the water, that could trash my boat. My men are good men. They can't die like that. I got to at least try to get out of here if that thing comes back."
Yeah, I agree. There's not much we can do about that. It makes a whole lot of sense. And if the rest of the party agrees, I would say if we do find some treasures, we could share 10% of it with the captain, assuming we can. I'm not sure how to say that, but like, make sure we keep most of the treasure to ourselves. So maybe not tell the Flaming Fist all that we have gotten, assuming we do get some stuff. So if Ordin is fine with that, then we can split 10% of the share with her.
Ordame will look at you, and you know, your dealings with them, the Fist, that's your dealings, but this trip's going to get a lot more costly if they destroy my ship. But as she calls to her first mate to let down the anchor and get ready to the longboat, grave look comes across her face, and she's like, "As long as my ship and my crew is fine, 10%'s good. Anything more than that, we'll have to figure it out later."
Sienna will say, "Very well, Captain. We shall be on our way." And like do a curtsy and head off to the longboat.
As you guys board the longboat, the men lower it down, splashes into the water. It rocks a little bit, but the water is very calm. Start heading towards the land. I would imagine you're still talking about how insane the idea that you're going to look for a sunken ship on dry land is, but you pull up to the beach with no problems. The tree line's 50 feet away from you. You pull the longboat up onto the beach and secure it. Everybody's out now, standing on the beach. What's your next? What would you like to do?
Sienna will ask which direction from here Rig saw the mast, and for him to start flying a bit ahead and point the way.
You would start flying directly west into the island, looking back at you every once in a while. Azaka would definitely be on point at this point. You could almost see the hair on the back of her neck standing up. She looks very at attention. For anybody who doesn't know who Azaka is, she's a guide of Nyanzaru. She's a guide of one of the merchant princes there. She's very experienced with this land. She's short, darker skin, long brown-red dreads. You can see the muscles underneath the exposed parts of her arms, and you can just imagine what she's hiding underneath the baggy clothes that she wears. But at this point, she takes the lead and looks to all of you and says, "We'll follow the bird, but I'm still the guide." He leads you into the forest.
Excellent.
Rig will call back to her, like, follow the leader, doggy. Follow the leader.
Menez, before going into the tree line, she just triple checks for the last time her map, just to get for sure the right bearings. And so my question is where exactly are we? Are we past? Have we passed Fort Balerian, in between Fort Balerian and Kitcher's Inlet, or is it before that?
Let me just bring up the map. It'll take 1 second, and I'll give you a good.
I think we're further south than Kitch's Inlet.
All right, you are further south than the inlet. Not much. There we go. You are past the fort. You are past what is that? The Illisqui. You're probably 100 miles south of Nyanzaru on a parallel line.
So we're in between. It's in between Kitcher's Inlet and Refugee Bay.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Before going in, Bjorn would just kind of scan the beach and as much as he can see from the forest to see if there's any stuff that would need to be seen or like dangerous.
Give me a perception roll. What advantage?
With advantage?
Yep.
Not 20.
As it's basically midday right now, the sun's up, it's shining on the beach. It's very easy to see almost every detail. You can almost pick out the grains of sand. As Bjorn scans, he sees weird dimples all along the beach, almost as if they're faded lightly. With a 20, you would realize, in a little bit of your tracking experience to this point, you would realize that whatever was on the beach must have been 8-10 hours ago, which would have made it middle of the night. There's hundreds of these little dimples, and every once in a while, a larger dimple, probably half the size of one of your feet. They're random, or at least what seem random, but once you start looking at the larger prints, you realize they're just very long strides. Other than that, you see a small path leading into the bush off to the left, but it looks like an animal path, looks like something small uses it, nothing large. And other than that, you hear nothing. There's nothing in the jungle that you can listen for. Everything's staying quiet.
That might be bad, but I share all of my thought with the rest of the party.
Menez pecking away a map and looking at the tracks that you've been studying. She says, Bjorn, do you think this is by many things or by one thing?
I don't know, but I don't know either which I would prefer.
So Menez kneels down and starts using investigation. She wants to see possibly if this could be how the patterning of the legs are. If it's like one creature that's got many legs, like a spider, for instance, or if it's like goblin, many groups of, if possible.
For Menez, the dimples in the skin are discernible as she starts to concentrate more and more. Give me the roll and see what you get.
Absolutely. She got let's see, investigation 7 minus 1. She got 6.
So as she's starting to finally discern what she would make out as, or could be, footprints, it almost seems as though either the patterns are too random or there's just too many. And as well, these dimples for Menace kind of bleed into the rest of the sand and the ripples that the water has made at high tide. Really, she can't discern any form of stride in the pattern. She can't pick out the pattern that Bjorn can see.
Absolutely. And she stands up. She just like knocks the sand from in front of her, just like frustrated, just like that, and just like stands up and falls after Azoka.
Just, you know, at a game, the dimples in the sand basically look like small impressions. Whatever would have made it almost looks like somebody was walking with a stick, and the stick just kind of started randomly poking at the sand. Small mounds of sand were pushed to the side as the stick entered the sand, but really it doesn't look like anything you guys have ever seen before at all, and that's probably why Menace is having such a hard time discerning them as any form of print.
Okay.
As you guys head into the jungle, odd, I would imagine at least a small amount of alert now with Azaka and Bjorn's information. You're traveling, the jungle's thick. Azaka's trying to lead you through a decent path, but really there's nothing that she can even find that any animal before you would have been able to easily travel on. The long leaves are smacking you in the face as the person in front of you is pushing them forward. Finally, you start climbing out to a clearing, and you see the weird point of what looks like a mast to be into the trees in front of you. It doesn't look like it would be coming out of a ship, though it's not tall enough, but it's just cresting the canopy of the trees. But it's definitely wooden, it's definitely pointy, and it definitely looks familiar. It's probably 100 feet ahead of you. Other than that, it's a small sand clearing. There's trees surrounding all of you. The jungle, again, is surrounding all of you outside of the small clearing that you're in. The clearing's probably only 20 feet long by 10 feet wide. And the bird starts to circle. I would imagine Sierra and his bird starts to circle the mast, being what she saw as she did the survey scout for you.
Yeah. If everybody keeps trying to walk forward, Sienna will like hold up her hand to hold everybody there for a second, and if you say it's within like 100 feet,
yep,
Sienna will look through Rig's eyes and see what he sees.
As Riggs circles the point of this protruding piece of wood out of the trees, and Sienna's eyes start to focus, she can see now as the bird looks straight down the mast, the point mast, and then the half bird's nest, about a third down the mast, is buried in the trees. Continually down the mast, beyond the bird's nest as it's shattered, you can see that this is just the mast. It's been splintered off of the boat itself. As the bird looks up and circles again, about another 150 feet inland, you can see the bottom crest of the boat, long wooden boat, protruding up out of another small bushel of trees. It definitely looks like an overturned hull is about another 150 feet into the bush.
And Sienna will relay this to the group, so they all like know in a bit of an astonished voice of what she's looking at.
Absolutely. Menez,
as the bird comes around on another circle, see a small movement around the boat. Definitely undiscernible, though. The bird can't see below the canopy of the trees.
Menez is using perception, looking to the right side, and to see if there's any sort of movement or listen out for any sound. And she looks towards the sea elf, Akira, and says, "Is there anything on your side?" She says as she goes back and continues to look and listen.
Yeah, do a perception check on my side to see if I see anything. Got 5. Oh, y'all still there?
Yeah.
I got a 5.
Yeah, you can't make anything out either. All you see is the leaves at the edge of the jungle of the clearing that you're in, bustling in the wind. As you start moving forward again, I would imagine you're going to start continue moving forward, or you're going to spend some time with the mast.
And it says, I think it's a good idea to slowly, just quietly, just with stealth, make our way forward. Whether we spread out or whether we go as a group, it's up to you. And she looks towards Bjorn.
Yeah.
I agree. We'll ask Zaka to. She might know what would roam the jungle close here, and maybe that would be attracted by the ship on the island.
At this point, as you look at Azaka, you can see her extremely tense. Her neck is lifted as her chin kind of points towards the sky, and you can almost see her sniffing at the air. All of her hair now almost seems to be starting to stand up slowly. She's starting to shake. She turns back to all of you and she says, "Keep moving forward," as she dashes off to the left and into the jungle away from you. Your guide is left.
Sienna will say, as much as I don't like this, I think she knows what she's doing. Something's up. Let's go with her advice and keep going forward for now, slowly and cautiously.
Yeah, move forward.
Absolutely. Menez slowly, just silently draws her blade. And then she's just really carefully, each step, just like as using stealth to move forward.
Bjorn has picked up a halberd, so he will take that, and with the pole, he can help himself trying to walk cautiously as well, and like kind of not put too much weight on his back leg, and try as much as possible to get his eyes peeled and not make too much. Not get too far in the back from the rest of the group.
While we move forward, Sienna will put her hand on Menez's shoulder so she can kind of like guide her while she's still looking through Rig's eyes. And can I make a stealth check for Rig to kind of like fly in, like into the trees to try to just close enough to see the movement?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually get you all to roll a stealth check. It seems like you definitely want to move forward without being too found out. So give me all a stealth check, and then give me one for a rare bird too.
All right, 2 separate ones. All right. All right. I'll do Rig's first. All right.
I got 14.
11.
Yeah.
Rig's got a 21, and then I get a 22.
Wow.
I guess it's probably because I'm assuming Menez is very big compared to Sienna, and she's just like just hiding, literally hiding behind.
Yeah, I got 11.
All right. So Rev, flying forward, very very nonchalant. Just looks like any other bird in the bush, flying, gliding across the trees. As you guys are slowly creeping through the jungle forward, every once in a while, one of you will step on a stick, make a little bit of a branch break, a little bit of noise, but nothing that the jungles of Chalt probably aren't extremely used to hearing. All of a sudden, slowly but surely, some of the crickets and animals and insects around you start making noise again. The jungle doesn't necessarily come fully to life, but things are starting to be a little bit more comfortable. The air is starting to thin out just a little bit. The tension is starting to go away. As the bird, through Sienna's eyes, gets closer to the boat, starts to make out odd forms scurrying underneath the boat, seeming to only come out into the light for moments before scurrying back into the shadows. They're small, lanky. Really, that's all Sienna can make out from the bird's eyes. As you guys slowly come up, I would say you're about 75 feet, halfway through the jungle now. You're starting to hear tapping noises ahead of you. Stick on stick, wood on wood. About another 25 feet forward, you start to hear muffled voices of a speech that you've never heard before.
Can we stop?
Go ahead.
Can we stop at that 25 feet?
Yeah, you're probably about 50 feet away from the tree line.
Like I say, if it's not we've heard, it's probably draconic as well. It doesn't happen to be draconic, is it?
No, it's definitely a language that none of you are familiar with. I can guarantee that.
And do we feel, well, at the moment, I guess, do we feel that we're like hidden still?
You definitely feel as though nothing has gotten your scent or or heard your sounds. You feel comfortable in the bush. Zach is still missing, but like I said, the animals around you are starting to come up. It definitely feels as though you guys are securely not noticed for the moment.
Absolutely. So Manez crouching with the hand of Sienna on her right shoulder. She looks towards Bjorn, and she looks towards the sea elf, and she whispers, "Do we split up and go around, or do we stay, or do we go forward?"
I would advise on staying together, as Azaka is already split up. So if she were to come back, it might be hard to get in contact with the other group if you have to change your plan quickly.
Yeah, I believe we definitely have strength in numbers. So that's still whatever put it up in the tree to begin with.
At this point, into the jungle to your south, all of a sudden you hear large, loud snarling. Sounds like whatever's in the bush is facing off against something else. Almost sounds like two giant cats going at it in the bush, just terrorizing each other, just screaming. You know how cats always do that vocal thing first. It doesn't sound like the fight has actually happened, but they're just yelling at each other back and forth. This has to be 200 yards to your south, to your left.
Is that the side where Azaka left off?
Yes.
And now it's closer to the boat, or is it far to the left?
You guys have been walking basically straight west from when you got off of the longboat, so this would be to your south. It would be down farther to you, so it would be basically the same distance as you were about 100 feet ago from the boat.
Got it.
See, I can't send the bird off.
Exact last words to you were, keep moving forward.
All right, let's go.
I guess.
Yeah.
And there's Rig's not been able to see anything else except for these small, like these little shapes scuttering in about.
If Sienna is still watching through the bird's eyes, when the loud yelling of the cats, or what sounds like cats off to the distance, comes out, the bird sees all of these little figures start to scurry out from underneath the shadows of the boat. Got to be 10 to 15 of them just starting to scurry around. They look anxious at this point when they hear this snarling. But then after a few seconds in the sun, they go back into the shadows.
No better view of them, or
a little bit. They're basically, I believe birds are colorblind. I'm not sure about that.
I think they are.
All right, so I'm going to basically say that you saw these tall, lanky forms, loosely clad in what looked like cloth, but you couldn't be sure from this distance. Bald heads, almost small twiggy growths coming out of some of their bodies. They definitely look humanoid. Definitely stand on 2 feet, walk bipedally, but not recognizable as of yet.
All right, and I guess at that point she will separate her sight from Rig, and call him back to her.
Are you relaying the information?
Yes.
Might be goblins. I heard there were tribes of goblins in the jungles that would like shoot themselves with catapults or something. I don't remember right, but I definitely heard of goblins in the jungles.
Sienna tell him maybe, but I've seen goblins before. I would notice what a goblin is, and these looked a bit different.
Again, the cries of cats rise out through the jungle from the south. They seem to be getting closer. At this point, you can definitely tell these creatures are scuffling with each other. The cries and you can almost hear the bites coming in, and the painful terror of the cats ringing through the jungle of trees. It does sound like they're getting closer slowly, and they're definitely fighting.
And even with this fighting that's going on, do we begin to hear again the tapping noises of wood on wood, or is that totally stopped as well?
No, it almost sounds as though the wooden tapping is getting louder and louder. As the bird was flying around, she could basically see all of these creatures holding on to spears or sticks, and one or two of them were tapping against the boat. As the cats from the as the cries from the cats came out of the jungle, it seemed like they were tapping these sticks against the boat a little bit more frantically.
All right, I'll make like a quick eye contact with everybody, and then I'll start forward towards the boat cautiously.
Menez follows.
It's about 50 feet from the tree line as you guys are sneaking up to it. You can see the sun shining through. It seems around the boat is all surrounded by what seems like a sandy opening. The boat itself entangled. You can see through the trees entangled with growth. Looks like it's been there for a long time. As you get about 10 feet away from the tree line, you can see the boat set about 100 feet into this opening. Barnacles all cover the hull of the boat. Large vines encase the whole thing. It definitely looks as a large crack in the bottom half of the hull near the rudder. It's definitely been turned upside down for some reason, and for another weird and odd reason that supposedly at the moment you can't fathom. It's 250 to 300 feet inland. This giant ship. Around it, you see splintered wood all broken out, like this thing landed there. And these creatures, you can see small scurrying in the shadows underneath the boat, but you can't make anything out. As you come right to the edge of the tree line, you look to each other. You can hear these cats moving through the jungles, getting closer and closer, maybe within the closest 100 yards now. You can't smell anything. You can't hear anything. The creatures in the jungle have gone quiet again. All you hear is the tapping underneath the boat as the cats get closer and closer. The anxiety of these creatures building with the fight that's happening behind you. Do you make your way out into the open?
I will motion to like what's our marching order right now? Menace and I out first, and then
And Sienna in the middle, and I guess Akira in the back.
okay. Well, I will motion saying to like keep an eye towards the sounds of the cats, like to make sure like if they would jump out on us or whatever to try and alert us, and then I'll make eye contact with Menace and like motion forward so that like we're going out, I guess.
Absolutely. You see, without talking, you can see the look on Menez's face is almost as if to say, like, wait. But she goes with your lead, and just stealthily, she starts making her way as best as possible forward.
As you guys breach the tree line, from underneath the boat comes this bipedal creature from the shadows. As he lets himself be seen, you could make out weird gray-green features. He's small and lanky. He's got a white bottom legs, and as his body goes up, it gets darker green. At the top of his head, it seems like the green kind of ends up in florets. It's almost, and it's odd to think about it, but it's almost as if this creature resembles a giant leek. The eyes looking at you oddly, his mouth hanging off to one side, and it looks as though he's had plenty of times in battle as his body is shredded in layers. Certain places his rib cage is shredded in 4 or 5 layers deep. His left leg is shredded about 4 or 5 layers deep. It looks like this thing's tussled with something big anyway. As he comes out, he's wearing this great necklace made out of shells around his neck. And you could tell that, you know, in lower cultures, you would believe that this would be either a leader or somebody who believed himself greater than the others. Comes out with his stick. He's shaking it up above his head, threateningly. Only yelling at you, but speaking in a garbled tongue that you cannot understand. It's weird. Like half talk, half mutter. Go ahead.
Saying that it's talking first and not attacking, Sienna will cast Comprehend Languages. to try to listen to this little thing's rambling.
As this garbled language, this thing's crying out, keeps going on, your spell starts to take effect, and it starts to clean up inside your head. Get out of here. What are you doing here? This is our home. Why are you here? You should leave. You should leave quickly. And you hear the rustling behind you getting closer to the opening.
She will say back to it. I guess we did not know you were here. We were looking for the ship. She'll point to that, and then but she'll turn back to the forest and say, "But there's something going on behind us. We might need your help. We don't know what's happening."
While they're speaking, I'll just like stop and trying to see past the creature. You're trying to like see through the darkness of the ship and like maybe if there's many other creatures or like what would await us and kind of trying to assess the situation.
As Bourne's starting to scout underneath the boat, it doesn't take long before more of these creatures come out from underneath the shadows, behind what you would believe to be their leader or chief. None of them have necklaces on. They all look ranging from odd different vegetables. One looks like a small, stout, squat cabbage, almost you would think, as his layers end up forming at the head and rippled leaves that just kind of curl back, the veins sticking out all over his body. Another one, orange, long, slender, with green hair poking out of his head. All of them have really weird facial features. Their eyes, their noses, and their mouths seem to be offset. Nothing seems symmetrical. One arm on one creature will be shorter than another. 1 foot on one creature will be turned backwards. They all look almost pieced together, but definitely violent as they're all lifting their sticks in their hands and looking at you. 12, 13 of them pop out from underneath the boat. Get out of here, again, Sienna hears through her head from this garbled language that the one spits. Our friend is almost back. You won't want to be here when he shows up. And the rustling and the screaming of 2 cats fighting is getting closer. It's obviously 2 giant cats fighting at this point, coming closer to the bush. 30 feet, 25
She'll,
feet.
like, pointedly say more to him, like, who is your friend? Why would he not want us here?
Manessa says we need to take cover, and she makes her way to the right to get out of the open clearing.
All right, I'll follow her like while keeping the creatures under watch.
Sienna will do the same, kind of like still facing them, like backing towards wherever Menace is going off to.
As you guys all start to go off to the side, I would imagine Akira follows slightly, almost curious of what's going on. 5 feet from the bush line, you hear these 2 giant cats still battling, and then all of a sudden they come out from the bush, in the jungle. You see one giant male-looking were-tiger, his claws in his arms, just grotesque. The hair beating off of it, blonde hair beating off of it. The muscles are ridiculous on this creature. He stands as they finally separate, and the male stands on his hind 2 feet. You can see a loincloth around his waist. A necklace dangles from his neck. But his facial features are that of a tiger. The hair down his back is all striped. Definitely looks wild. His hair has been, caked in mud, swamp. Leaves from around him. Stinks. You can smell him from where you're standing. You must be 50, 60 feet away from him. And as you look to what he's battling, it has long, reddish-brown, dreadlocked hair, strong, rippled, muscular arms with claws that are 5 to 6 inches away from her hands, and a baggy sweater that's almost been a little bit more filled in as you recognize your guide, Azaka, as this other were-tiger battling through the bush. As these things stop and face off, blood oozing from each of them, their claws covered in flesh and hair. Azaka looks to the sky and she starts to purr, this low, grumbled purr from within her chest. and the male starts to slowly walk around her in a counterclockwise pattern. These veggie people, for lack of a better word, are tapping their sticks louder against the boat now, screaming at you, still in their garbled tongue, to go away.
Menez sprints towards.
If Menez goes to do that, Sienna will
do that.
stop her, like grab her. But, if Menez wanted to, she could literally probably drag Sienna.
What she does is this. So she goes to run like this. You take her. She sort of spins round and she looks at you, kind of shocked, and she says, "Asaka."
Sienna goes, "Wait, use your head. This is a werebeast. Nothing you have here can hurt it."
And she's looking between you and Azaka. What is the Azaka's her eyes read, or her facial expressions? Because I imagine that we were just within the brush, and I've run out from the brush, just got caught, so I'm outside of it. So I don't know whether she sees me or not.
Oh, absolutely, she sees you. It's like the intuition of these beasts is crazy. Almost as if they knew you were in the bushland, she shoots you a sharp shot quickly as her face is still raised, her arms slightly behind her torso, standing on her back legs with her head and her neck up to the sky, this low purring continuing from deep within inside of her chest. This other creature looks to you, smells the air, and then is immediately drawn back to Azaka as he continues to circle around her.
Is this purring and the growls or stuff they're doing, is that actually a language I would pick up with comprehend, or is it literally just them making animal noises?
At this point, you definitely think that they're communicating. You're just not exactly sure how yet. And as the feline features of Azaka shoot towards Menez, you can see almost a glint in her eye, like she knows exactly what she's doing, and you should stay away.
Sienna will, I know Sienna's kind of tall, but Menez is probably, bigger, but, she goes to bow up to Menez, calm yourself. There is nothing you can do here. It is a were creature. You can't hurt it.
Menez runs her hand across her scar, across her face, and then her muscles just relax a bit, and she just takes steps back into the brush, into the where the cover was, where the rest of the party was.
As you guys continue to watch these two werebeasts stand there, one encircling the other, it almost seems as though they're starting to calm quietly down. The male continues to make moves quickly towards Azaka and then backs off at the last second as she stays firm and doesn't flinch. Finally, after a couple of seconds go by, you see Azaka start to turn back into her human form, the form that you've come to know. As she does, she's standing there. She continues to have her chin pointed towards the sky, her arms behind her, her chest forward. And as she starts to relax and breathe deeply, you hear her voice say, "Don't come closer yet. Just wait." And the male continues to circle, slower and slower, starting to calm, but still almost seems like he's stuck in this werebeast form. Finally, after a couple of minutes, he straightens his back. His features start to return to a human form. He looks up to Azaka, kind of smiles, tilts his head, looks to all of you in the bush. He knew you were there the whole time, you could tell. He looks back to his veggie pygmy people, and then just starts to bustle off, busily doing chores, talking to himself and muttering. The hair on his body is almost all gone, but the hair on his head and his face are just a huge beard and a rusty mop of hair cover his head. This man looks like he's been in the bush for a long time, probably been in his were form for a very even longer time. He definitely doesn't look like he's seen people in a long time, and he's a little odd, a little strange as he's wandering around and picking things up here and putting them down there. Looks like he's starting to clean up a bit, completely ignoring you at this point. The pygmy people start to relax and go and resort back underneath the boat, figuring like everything's okay at this point. I would imagine you would feel a little bit safer coming out of the bush as the Azaka kind of nods at you. It's okay now. Just don't piss him off.
I'll start moving out of the bush and like kind of shoot her an interrogating look.
She would just smile. What? You thought everyone in Schalt was normal?
At that point, Rig would land on Azaka's shoulder and be like, "Ha! I knew there was something funny about you. Ha!" And just kind of like stink eye her a little bit.
Birds aren't too lucky around cats, sweetheart.
Rig would go, "I ain't a normal bird." And then Sienna will walk up kind of, what, maybe a little bit of a Nuva, like respectful distance. And she's like, "Well, dearie, why aren't you full of surprises?
So
Anything
just
else you'd like to let us know?"
I think the chief would come back out from underneath the boat at this point, knowing that he can communicate with Sienna, or at least believing that he can. So, your friend calmed him down finally. He's been looking like that for a long time. It's kind of a nice relationship we have here. He leaves us alone, we leave him alone, and he always kills more than he needs to eat. But I've never seen him calm down like that. You guys are probably a little more welcome here than anyone else we've ever met. What are you doing here?
even as he's speaking, Menez is not even looking at this leak-looking chief with the necklace around his neck. She's actually just looking at Azaka. She's just just a little kind of just in shock almost. You know, she'd never have believed that she had some sort of damp disease. But what we saw, Azaka, was that a weird tiger or another weird creature?
Yeah, it's you know, it is what it is. Something that I've had to deal with.
She'll go, "Huh." And then I guess Sienna will turn back to the vegetable person and just like, "Well, we were looking for that," and point up at the boat and be like, "If you can tell us how it got here."
The chief of the veggie people would kind of look to you and say, "No, I don't know how it got here, but it makes a really good base for us. You know, from here we can go out in the bush and we can just steal stuff, and you know that damn freaking were tiger guy, he likes to gamble a lot and he always wins. So he's won all of our stuff already, so we have to go out and we have to steal stuff and, you know, collect things that we can find, and we come back and we try to win back our stuff and he just wins that again, and it's, God, he's really good."
Huh. Interesting. And then she'll like relay this information back to the rest of the group.
Yeah, he plays that damn three dragon ante or whatever it's called. That dice game. Always friggin' wins.
When Sienna explains the first part to us, Menez says two things. She says, "What type of people are they? What are the people called? And what is this game that they win? What are they gambling with? Is it the treasure? Is it other things?"
So
And
Bjorn, with his soldier background, knows the game, but I don't. So
it's kind of like craps, isn't it? If I remember correctly, Dan, or if there's any explanation of what it is.
Yeah, it's very similar. Well, it's like a mixture of liar's dice and poker. You know, very poker-esque with dice.
okay.
Sienna, what are they gambling with? And
And she will turn around and ask him, like, mind you, Sienna at this point has like pulled out like a big book. This thing's like, it's always been noticeable on her bag. This is like one of her biggest books, and she's like writing down in it. Book. She's just like writing down everything she's learning from this and asking him like, "Well, I guess number one, who are you? Number two, what are you?"
At this point, he feels comfortable enough with you. He would motion to you to join him underneath the boat, or at least closer to the shadows as the sun hurts his skin. And he would relay the information of how long they've been here. They've been here for a couple of years now. When they found the boat, it was full of treasure. And they were very happy to have it all. They guarded the boat. They used it as a base. When this werebeast came along, this were-tiger man came along, he was already in his were form. And he basically took over everything. He came into the boat and took over the nicest room, and it was good because everything he killed, he wouldn't eat everything, so we were able to eat stuff. And every once in a while, if he would sleep long enough, he would turn out to be a man again in the morning. And God, he loved to drink. So he used to use all the gems that he won off of us from playing the game, and he would buy wine off of passerbys or merchants or adventurers. And then after a while, you know, we just ran out of all of our loot. He had it all, so we had to start taking other stuff. And you know, it's been a hard life. And he would explain, you know, every once in a while, adventurers will come by. He wouldn't talk to them, but he would kind of trade with them and then play dice and see if he could win the dice. He didn't really like to hurt anybody. He was always more curious than blood hungry, but he's always been there, and he's always protected them, and they've always protected him.
Sienna, I guess at that point she'd be like, big sigh, shut her book, turn back to the group, and like, well, I got good news and bad news for you. Does anybody perk up at that?
Yeah, but
She'll go, number one, I found our boat with the treasure in it. Number two, our new big furry friend drank it all away. All of it. They've been having to get extra shit to just gamble with him so he can go out and get more drink. So
Lovely.
it's all gone.
Fuck.
well, asking where has it been going to get extra stuff at?
She like I assume from people, but then she'll I guess turn back to the leak man and ask that question.
As you guys are talking, this man in his man form now has been walking basically all around you, sniffing, especially Bjorn. He seems to like the smell of his leg. A little weird. But he's bustling around you, and other than that, he's bumping into you, he's walking past you, he's picking things up beside you, underneath you, but he hasn't really acknowledged any of you, and he's just going along his merry way. Azaka is slowly following him around at this point. Not noticeably, but you know, she's definitely, if you look in her eyes, a little bit smitten.
At this, seeing this, Reeg looks to Sienna looks to Azaka and goes, well, dearie, are you going to introduce us to your boy toy or what?
Oh, yeah, you think you're funny, huh? I don't know his name. I just know what he smells like. Yeah, he doesn't seem to talk much. And Azaka would look to him. Excuse me, do you have a name? He would look up to her as though he recognized the words coming out of her mouth. He would just stare at her for a few seconds, put his head back down, and go along his way again.
I guess, and again, Sienna will try that because this has all still been within an hour, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So the spell's still going, right? And she'll ask you, like, hello, sir. I guess since we're currently guests in your home, who are you? May I trouble you of your name?
Look up to you. You could see in his eyes that he recognizes the words that are coming out. Slowly across his lips, he would whisper, wine? You have wine?
Like Sienna will say, yes, here. It's only fair since we're in your house. And she'll pull out, like, you know, a small thing of wine and hand it to him.
He won't take your wine from you, but he'll start walking away, turn back to you, and wave in the direction that he's walking, as if to get you to follow him, as he starts to duck underneath the boat and starts to climb up inside of it. Azaka immediately goes underneath the boat and follows him.
Sienna will too, and she'll look to the rest of the group like, well, I guess it's tea time, dearies. Let's go.
You guys start to go underneath the boat. You see the main stairway that, if the boat was turned right side up, would have led down into the hull above you. All around, you start to, as your eyes adjust to the shadows, you start to make out swords and then little boxes, barrels full of weapons. Everything seems to have a weird logo on it, one you haven't seen before. The fist covered in flame, almost embossed in everything around.
We know who that symbol is. Then
Whoever these guys are stealing from, they've been stealing from them for a long time.
Ooh.
As you guys look up and your eyes start to adjust more to the boat, you can see the long, dark deck boards of the boat starting to splinter away from the wood that held them. As you start to manhandle your way up this upside-down staircase to get into the hull of the boat, the shadows are starting to become clearer to you now. As you see everything that you've just seen in Captain Ordemay's boat, but basically sitting on the ceiling as it's been thrown from its floor as the boat's been turned upside down. It's messy, it's dark, the spider webs are great in numbers. But it definitely seems as though these veggie men have kept the boat safe and secure. There's nothing that you think that can hurt you as you climb through other than the splintered wood and the thrown nails from the boards. As you come up into the back of the boat, what you believe to be the captain's quarters, you see the large window across the back of the boat and the sun shines in. Gives detail to the room. You see upstairs, some thrown away from the walls, some still attached. You see a beautiful bed turned right side up on the floor, which used to be the ceiling of the boat. The covers drawn and made, the sheets tight and taut, and the pillows fluffed. You see the desk off to the side turned upside down so that it's right side up. Everything else seems to be strewn around the room, but it definitely seems as though this man has taken on the most beautiful and illustrious room in this boat, even though it's upside down on for himself. As he walks up to the desk, he throws 3 dice down on the table and scoops 3 more dice up in his hand. Opens the desk drawer and pulls out this beautiful purple large amethyst and says, whips the dice down on the table and says, "Gem for wine, play."
Very well. And she'll, I guess, other people like to the rest of the group, like he just wants to play a game. That for the wine.
What are you doing right now? Like, I'm sure this whole scene's a little bit weird. Why don't you all explain the climb up through the boat and what your character's doing at this point? We'll start off with Akira.
I guess I'm just looking around and taking everything in sight. Seeing what I see.
Basically, just the room before you, books on the ground. How about you, Bjorn?
Pretty much the same. I mean, I'm moving forward and like on the old wood of the boat, my lobster leg is kind of making a weird sound. And I'm like kind of hopping along with my helping myself with my halberd. But I'm kind of like looking through the weapons lying around and see if there's anything interesting, because the main point was trying to find a treasure, and said that it was gone. So I'm trying to just like have a look around and maybe see if we can go back to not empty-handed.
All of the weapons and things around you definitely look brand new. It seems like they were all brought in recently for, the group. Obviously, what you believe to be the iron or the flaming fists. They're all just regular weapons, simple and standard weapons. Nothing seems magical, but everything does seem new and crisp. There's weapons of all sorts, small packs around you, boxes full of supplies and goods. Some of the food has been eaten by these people, but they've definitely been collecting for a while.
Okay.
And what about you, Menace? What are you up to?
Yeah. Did you say that there was a table which you put the dice and stuff on?
Yeah, the captain's desk has been turned over and is utilized in the middle of the room.
Absolutely. So she just had her blade out, and she's just lounging on a blade chair with her arms on the side. It's just thinking that the trip is lost, and that we're probably soon going to be going back empty-handed. But she just kind of watches.
And what about Sienna?
And on the trip, like I guess through the boat, Sienna, knowing worst time for Rig to actually be here because his ass will get her eaten. She will tell Rig to deliver a message to Ortame telling that we found the boat. We might be here for a little while if she can hold out for us until we return. Unknown how long it'll be, but hopefully soon. And then she will send Rig flying off back to the boat to deliver the message.
I'll get Bjorn to give me a quick perception check as he's checking out the weapons and he's checking out a little bit more of the boat. Just to see if he can hopefully find something that'll help him figure out what's going on.
17.
Sorry?
17.
All right, as Bjorn's going around and checking out the weapon stashes in this captain's quarters, comes upon a small leather book with a pen and a quill stashed inside of it. Looks like the book hasn't been written in a very long time. But as you pick it up, you open it, you see on the very first page the name Boyes Otamu and a few entries in what looks like a diary. Again, the man with the dice motions to Sienna to play for the wine with the gem. Do you? I have a breakdown of the rules if you want to go over them really quick.
Sure.
So, with Dragon's anti-set, basically, we'll bet a wager, so the gem for the wine, I would imagine. Each player rolls 3d6, and you're looking for poker hands, so essentially high pair, trips, or straights. You can raise or fold. If we don't like our dice, we can roll one dice, bet again, roll one more die, and then whoever has the best poker is the winner.
All right. And
So
how
the
many
man
dice are we rolling?
3d6, and the man will
3d6.
motion you to roll them first.
Quick question. I have a proficiency with gaming dice. Does that come in handy in any way, or?
You can definitely aid Sienna in knowing how to play the game, giving her
Sienna
a
also comes with a gaming skill.
might
For
give her
being a noble.
a little bit of advantage on the betting aspects of it.
All right.
Okay, I will do that.
All right, and just roll 3d6.
Yep. Don't exactly tell me what they are, but as soon as your dice hit the table, the man looks up and he's kind of got his hand in front of his dice as he's looking at you. A glint comes over his eye and a smile creaks upon his face. As he reaches down into the desk, he pulls out another gem. Say this one's a giant amber, and lays it on the table, and he says, "More wine?"
So, does anybody else have any wine? That was my only supply.
I don't have any either.
Jimenez doesn't have anything as well.
Two barbarians in the party, and they're not alcoholics. What kind of barbarians are you?
You also notice a thing from when she was sailing. But she's not a gambling. She's never gambled. But she looks over to Akira and she says, "You also know how to play this?"
Bjorn.
Sorry, forgot I was muted though.
Bjorn will put his hand on Siena's shoulder and take out a vial from his pack, and I'll tell the wereman that it's a magic potion, I guess, to help. But
He'll
And
nod his
she'll relay this like, will he take this as a wager?
He'll nod his head, and he'll look to your dice or your hand if you're guarding your dice, and he'll pick up one of his and shake it repeatedly in his hand as he gets ready to roll the second round.
Alright.
So you can pick whatever you'd like in your hand, and if you want, you can roll up to one more dice to see if you can get a better poker hand out of it.
All right, let me roll one then.
And he looks kind of questioning to you, realizing that there's no more wine basically on the table as Bjorn hands over this potion. And he lifts up his hand, and behind his hand, his dice read 2 6s and a 5.
Damn, close. I got a 6, a 5, and a 4.
Well, your straight beats a pair. The man throws his hand down on the table in fury, slams the table. The dice bounce up about 3 or 4 inches, hit back onto the table, and they're all scattered again. He throws both gems at you. He says, again.
Okay.
As he reaches down into the desk and pulls out a tourmaline. Throws it on the table.
a what?
Tremoline, a very nice gem.
Oh, okay. I'll pat again Siena's shoulder, seeing as I kind of like helping her or whatnot, and I'll pull out my own set of dice, which are made out of bones, and I'll give it to her, like kind of as a luck symbol.
As these dice are passed over to Sienna, the man takes interest and starts sniffing. Even in his human form, he seems almost wild, and he just sniffs at the hand of Sienna.
She'll like hold them out for him to sniff.
Seems to like the dice you've brought out. So again, he rolls his dice and looks to you.
All right, and she will roll these new dice from Bjorn. All right. And you said we can re-roll one?
Yeah, again from the desk though, he throws down a crisp. I don't even know how to say that. A crisp burl, another beautiful looking gem. Throws it down on the table and wants the potion that you offered in the first game.
All right.
Sure.
All right. Her hand is rolled.
He rolls again and he looks up to you and he asks you to bring out your hand first. He nods. Show what you have.
All right, and she shows a 6, a 2, and a 5.
And as the man's hand lifts up, he has 3 4s. You kind of see his finger almost knock over one of his dice as he's lifting up his hand, but in front of him, he shows 3 4s.
And she'll say, "Oh, you won this round, my friend."
He snaps at the wine and he just starts guzzling it back down.
Can you repeat that? The part about the dice? I'm not sure I heard right.
As he's lifting his hand up, you can slowly see what looks to be his finger bumping one of his dice over. But in front of him, he shows 3 4s.
Seeing as I have some experience with the game, would I be able to know if he cheated or not?
Yeah, even without a check, I would say that Bjorn knows that this man just cheated.
Okay, holding my halberd, I'll just like slam it on the ground and like kind of look at it, but I'm not. I won't say anything.
Man will look up to you, startled. His face will frown.
Sienna,
Hair will rustle on his top of his head.
when she does that and sees Bjorn, she kind of like, finger calls Bjorn closer to like to lean down, and she'll like whisper to him. So I saw that too. Like, a blind man could see that, but I don't think it's best to call out a were person on their cheating. He could easily kill every one of us in this room, and we could do nothing about it. Well, I could hurt him, but none of you could.
Listen, so why are we playing games with him?
Sienna will look the man is because, like I said, it's better than getting eaten, and if he's not going to cheat every round, it would seem, because we won that first hand.
This
might be our only chance to get any treasure out of here.
At this point, the man gets up from behind the desk and just leaves you all, walks away. Doesn't say a word, doesn't look back, just heads out of the boat, takes off on you. He's all standing there in the captain's quarters. Bjorn with the book in his hand and his halibut in his other hand. Everyone just kind of looking at each other, and Azaka looking at you saying, he's more wild now than he is human. Chasing after him, she leaves the room as well.
I guess since I guess all he wanted from that hand, all he won back from that hand was the wine, right? He didn't take the gems or nothing.
Right.
I guess as well.
Sienna will scoop them into her hat real quick and put them back on. She's like, well, let's go see what all this is about, boys. Come.
Make our way out. On the way out, we go past those boxes with the flaming fist. Minas just wants to like check if there's anything of value in the just if there's anything weird in there.
You really, as you search around the room, you don't see anything else. The only thing that you feel would, from the whole boat at this point, would be taken would be that small book that Bjorn found on the ground with the man's name. You think Bjorn's not sure if it's even the man that the book is talking about, but it does seem like a diary with a few entries in it. As you go back out onto the ground, as you follow Azaka and this man out, there's really nothing else you notice. The veggie people are all sitting around in a circle. Seems like they're eating or doing something, but being quiet off by themselves in the darkest part of the shadows. Azaka and the man head out into the sun and turn the corner of the boat. Really nothing else.
Vanessa turns to Bjorn and says, may I look? And she extends her hands for the book that you put away.
I'll hand it to her.
She takes it, she crosses her legs down, and she just just examines it from the outside and just flips through it and just trying to read as best as possible.
I'm sorry, you're gonna start reading the book and examining it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so as you go through, you basically, the first entry of this man, Boyes Otomu, basically states that he's been wandering through the bush for a long time now, the jungles for a long time now. The second entry states that he's come across this boat with these odd-looking creatures that don't seem to be much threat, especially when he turns into his were form. The third entry and the fourth entry seem like he was exploring around the boat. In the first entry, you read about the bones of a great dragon that lie in a grotto to the southwest. And on the in the fourth entry, you read about a coastal sediment in the refuge bay that sank into the sea. You believe, this man believes it was named Ishau. Other than that, the book starts to trail off. You can tell the man seems to have gotten more and more wild, almost scribbling by the end of it, and then just a few torn pages by claws.
Absolutely. So by each entry, with a legs crossed, by each entry, going through as kind of speed reading as best as possible, getting as much information as she can. She relays it back every single time she goes through a new entry. She relays it back to Bjorn, to Akira, and to Tiana. And then closing it, she's like, "So this is the book of the Were Tiger. Well, yeah, is Otama."
Say, well, now we have a name to put to a hairy face.
And passing the book back to Bjorn, she says, it said something about he had kind of exploring bones of a dragon in that direction, she thinks. And then she's trying to figure out the direction of the coastal settlement.
First, I just want to double check. What was the name of the village?
Isharu.
Ishao. I'll write it in the chat.
Can you write down the name of the guy that had the diary?
Yeah, his name was. Let me get my papers because I got it on the papers. Bwains Otamu.
I will. I don't know. Do you guys think maybe the grotto with the dragon boats could hold anything interesting? Because at this point, it kind of sucks going back empty-handed. At the same time, I will suggest that maybe if we go back, talk to the man, and with his name, because it's probably his diary, maybe it'll make him snap out a little bit of his wild state, and maybe he'll give us some information or help us in some way. He also seems related to the Flaming Fist in some way. So,
interesting. Yeah, Menez totally agrees. And if it's possible, then what would I have to roll for maybe history or something like that? Just whatever information she's ever heard about, like weird tigers. Any information she's heard about weird tigers, stories.
Yeah, that'd probably be an Arcana check because they're supernatural creatures.
Is that okay, then?
Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So she gets 9 minus 1. That is, she gets an 8. She's just trying to think of some of the songs that she's heard and some of the rumors she's listened to in taverns by the fire and stuff like that.
All Menez really can tell is that, or remember from the stories, is that any werebeast is, very scary to be reckoned with. They have a lot of different regular damage immunities. Most regular weapons don't hurt them. They're usually very bloodthirsty when in were form. Hard to control. That's really about all she can recall from the rumors.
Absolutely. And just one last thing. In regards to the weapon thing, is it silver affects it? Maybe I don't remember that. Maybe I don't recall that. But she's trying to recall that because she has a silver. Her blade is laced with silver. But if she can't recall it, she can't recall it.
No, I don't think I can help you out with that one. Sorry, man. I wish I could. As you guys are sitting there, as Menez is starting to finally get up from this book, you hear a mechanical noise from the other side of the boat. It's like a snap, as you almost hear rope going quickly. All of a sudden, you hear Azaka scream, and this man starting to turn and starting to get this growl, this cat's growl and snarl back quickly.
Menez jumps to the front.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
You know that the sounds are coming from the other side of the boat. The veggie people are starting to look very scared and anxious again. Sticks and their spears are tapping on the top of the boat. And you hear Azaka as well at this point starting to turn, and you hear the feminine feline screams of a were-tiger. They sound as though they're being lifted off the ground.
Menez draws her blade and springs in that direction.
I'll follow.
Sienna runs after too.
I'm kind of
Yeah,
hopping
me too.
along, but I have half speed, so I'm doing my best to keep up.
As you guys come around the stern of the boat, you see Azaka and this man in their were-tiger forms caught in a net, held 6 feet off the ground. as human men start walking out of the bush, cheering at each other. They finally notice you. It's obvious from what they wear that these men are from the Flaming Fist. More and more men start pouring out of the bush line. The jungle seems to be full of them. They seem to be very happy with their catch. The one in charge wears large plate armor, a large flaming fist on his chest, and a red cape draping down. The rest of them looks like two are in long robes, could be priests. One battle-hardened soldier, old man with a large spear. 4 or 5 guards follow them out, and you hear what you think to be large footsteps walking up to the edge of the jungle line, staying behind the trees. They haven't noticed you yet.
So
How many of them are there?
How are we talking about?
Sorry?
How many people are we talking about?
Altogether, about 8.
And they captured both of the were people under the net.
They seem to have caught them in a trap of a net that's been raised off of the ground.
Okay, I got it.
What do you do?
We know the second in command of the Flaming Fist. Her name was like Gertie something. Is that the person wearing the plate armor, or is it somebody else?
You haven't heard anybody say any names yet.
And we're too far to recognize the person.
You know, you can start to see the faces as they get closer to you.
I imagine after we I can speak for myself, but Minna's like we're sprinting around. When she sees this thing, she comes to like a screech and just like crouches down. And she just backs away so that she stays in a safe position to observe what is going to go on.
Sienna will say to the group, like, fuck, we can't let them take Zaka. What they're going to do. If we attack them and one of them if we attack them, we have to kill them all. Otherwise, the Flaming Fist back in town will hear about it.
If we free the werewolves, the were-tigers, we might have a chance.
What is this?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Akira. What did you?
I was gonna ask what was like holding the net up. Is there like any cut wires we can cut? Is there like anything we can cut down?
It seems as though the wire for the trap that's holding up the net is definitely behind the men from the Flaming Fist. As they start to walk out a little bit more, the leader, this knight, this one in plate armor, yells towards the boat, "We want our shit back!" And as they draw their weapons, you see that all of their weapons shine in the sun as they're silvered, almost as if they came purposely and knew what they were doing.
How about we sneak from the back and we see if there's any more than that, and then we either wear people and we get right in there, or are we wanting to do something else?
No, I buy that. We can always improvise. We can try that, and then along the way we can change it.
You hear Azaka screams from the net as she gets more and more frustrated. It almost seems like these two creatures are going to start fighting each other as they're trapped. And
Sienna,
behind you, you see the veggie people flee to the opposite side of the jungle as they run.
Sienna will say to the groups, like, I have an idea. I can get them down without them maybe seeing us. But
what do you need?
If I do this and they do see us, we have to fight this.
We're fighting this.
All right.
So,
all right. She'll look at you like, do we do this or no?
Do this.
Yeah, I pulled my swords out just in case.
All right, Dan, I'm going to ask you a couple questions here. Being as the spell Magic Missile doesn't have to roll to hit.
Right.
I just target something and it automatically hits, correct?
Yep.
I have the feat known as Spell Sniper. I can, my ranged spell attacks ignore half cover and 3/4 cover. So can I like hide myself just enough where I can see the target? Because that's all I need to do is be able to see with a magic missile to be able to like lead around just around the corner enough to cast magic missile while still trying to remain hidden.
Yeah, roll me a stealth check, and I'll answer that question. And then I definitely love the idea with the magic missiles.
Because I was just thinking, since I can ignore 3/4 cover, I could just stick my hand around the corner.
With your ability to be in that much cover, you don't have to roll that high of a stealth check to be able to pull this off.
Menez would like to do something before.
Oh, thank goodness. 19.
As Sienna gets herself into position to do this, before the flaming fist notice you all, what is Menez doing?
Yeah, Menez basically wants to break off and move stealthily around in like a half, in like a C, because if that's possible. Do you understand?
Yeah, give me a roll on that. Are you going to try to go from the bow of the boat out, or are you trying to go around to the other side of the boat?
She's going to try and get just around the back of this basically group, if it's possible to do that using stealth.
Okay, let's see what you roll.
Okay.
Dan, how far are we from the people?
About 60 feet. Sorry, what's that?
15.
Okay. You're successfully able to get into position. Bjorn, what will you be doing?
I'll just I'll stay there. I'll try to stay in. Well, I'm ready to like go in, but I'm not gonna move. I'll stay beside Serena.
All right, and Akira.
Yeah, I'll pull my swords out and stand guard with them.
All right. As the flaming fist yell again, "We want our stuff back! Get out here! We know you've been stealing it." I'll allow you guys to. I'll allow Sienna to pull this off, and we'll see if they notice you or what happens.
All right, do I roll damage for the magic missile?
Yeah.
All right.
What level are you casting it at?
Let's see, spells. At level 2.
All right, so just roll damage for each one of the missiles.
All right, so it's 4 plus 4, 44 plus 4. All right. 7, 8, 9, 11 damage.
And where are you aiming them?
At the net to try to cut the net down.
All right. As you fire off the missiles from 3/4 cover, the missiles all find their mark. They find the knot that holds the wire to the net. 1, 2, 3, the net still holds. The fourth one hits, and the net still holds these two werebeasts above the ground. You can tell that there's been a few ropes that are frayed, but the knot is still intact, and the werebeasts are still being trapped. From the side, all of a sudden, the veteran, the older soldier that holds the spear, notices the smoke going off as the missiles hit the top of the net. He looks to the rest of his group. "There's someone here. Everybody get on defense." And we'll roll initiative.
All right.
All right, so give me your initiative, and I'll put it ready.
All right.
6.
Me.
Bjorn? Oh, there we go. Nice. And Akira, what'd you grab?
We rolled and added to it, right?
Yep.
18.
Beautiful. All right, I'm doing everything on paper, so it'll take me an extra second. Bjorn and Sienna, you guys can figure out who goes first.
I get Sienna will like look to Bjorn since Sienna has ranged abilities to like to pop something off first.
Yeah, sure.
And Sienna will. They're all still kind of like clustered up in like this defensive stance, right?
Yep.
Yeah. This is probably like along with the magic missile the first time Sienna Bjorn will see Sienna doing actual magic. And so she, with a few arcane words, a small baseball-sized orb of fire appears in her hand, and as she goes to, like motion it towards the group, towards as close to the middle of this group of guys as she can, Bjorn almost swears he sees a little like jack-o'-lantern face in this fire before it almost like almost teleports to the middle of this group. And I'm aiming it to where a 30-foot radius will hit as many as it can, and the orb will shrink and detonate for a fireball.
Okay.
How many do I get in there?
In a 30-foot radius, you'll get them all.
All right.
Do I have a save roll?
Let's see here. Let me roll the damage first.
Yep.
All right. They all take 40 damage, dexterity save for half.
Okay, let me just do the saves real quick. All right, so the knight takes full damage. One priest takes full damage. And that is all. The rest of them take half damage.
So that's 20 for the ones that saved, 40 for the two that didn't.
They're all still standing. As the fireball goes off, their cloaks and capes start to catch fire. The shields block a lot of it. As they start patting each other out, they start to spread out a little bit more in a defensive stance. Bjorn, you're up.
Still walking through the bush with my cover. I'll just try to move as much movement as I can do to get closer to the group of people, which I believe is not more than 15. Is there any? Because I know if I dash, I fall prone. I wouldn't want that. If I use my full turn, can I move further than that? Or is that a dash?
No, you would have to dash to move further.
Okay, so I will move 15 feet, and I will. So they still haven't seen exactly where we are because we've been in the bush all the whole time, right?
True.
If I would rage, would they immediately find me, or?
No, they would probably hear you, but I'm not sure if they would be able to see you with only 15 feet of movement.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
That's it.
Then we have the knight up. The knight looks and searches the horizon. Can't see anything. He starts to run quickly, as fast as he can to the boat. He dashes and makes it all the way. He's covering himself on the other side of the boat now. From the bush line where you saw the veggie people run, all of a sudden you hear large smashes. Bang, bang. Cries from the veggie people as you can hear them dying underneath with sounds like rocks smashing against the ground. That's all happening behind you.
Shit, I gotta call him.
In front of you, you see the old veteran soldier hold up his spear and start running towards where he thought he saw the flash of the fireball come from. He makes it about 30 feet, halfway, roughly, around Sienna.
How close is that from me?
To you, he's still about 15 feet away.
Okay.
At this point, we have up 2 of the guards. As the guards separate, they start to circle. One goes towards the back of the boat, one towards the front of the boat as they start coming around. And up now we have Akira.
I don't know, I'll just move up 15 feet. Take defensive stance.
You only have 15 feet of movement?
Yeah.
Okay. After that, we have up the other 2 guards as they as well start to follow the other 2 guards, one around the front of the boat, one around the back of the boat. They're all closer to the front of the boat, so the ones coming towards the front of the boat are about 15 feet away from Bjorn, 30 feet away from Sienna. The ones going towards the back of the boat have only made it halfway to the back of the boat, only 30 feet from where they were standing. At this point, we have Menez up.
Okay, roughly how far away from the boat are they?
I'm sorry?
How far away from the boat is Menez?
You started to circle around from the bow of the boat, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say you're probably about 30, about 20 to 25 feet away from the bow of the boat, probably still 30 feet away from them.
Absolutely. And am I still in stealth?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So what she's going to do just for this round is she just stays crouched and just observes. She's keeping an eye on these the ones that look like, specifically the ones that look like free.
What do the guards look like specifically?
I thought you had said that there were some that look like priests.
Yeah, 2 of them definitely look like priests. 4 of them just look like lowly guards. One like a knight, and one like a very, very stout soldier.
All right, and the stout soldier was one that ran towards where Sienna was, where we were standing before.
Yes, correct.
Okay, absolutely. So she just keeps her eye on the thing and listening out for what's going on. That's it.
Okay. Next up, we have the 2 priests. One of the priests starts to wave his hands in the air as his mouth starts to slowly whisper words. He throws out dispel magic, and basically nothing happens as none of you are magically hidden or invisible. He thought that maybe there was an invisibility spell at play, and as the spell goes out and nothing happens, he realizes nothing was. The other priest starts to feel or starts to chant something as well, but he's concentrating and his turn passes. We're back up at the top of the list with Sienna.
All right. How high is the boat above us?
I'd say probably 40 feet. Like it's at the bow of the boat, the peak of the bow of the boat would be about 40 feet above you.
There any be like anything within 30 feet that are like relatively like a ish area or something you could stand on, like up on the boat?
You would be able to start climbing the very back of the, or I'm sorry, the bow of the boat, the long narwhal spear that comes out of it. Really, other than that, nothing.
Oh, okay then. She needs to bring them down quick. So. Oh. I'm sorry. If a spell has either a reaction or a bonus action as a thing, can I do an action spell and then cast that as well, or no? I can't remember.
I don't think you can cast 2 spells. But you know what? As long as you cast one as an action and one as a bonus action, as long as the spell is a bonus action, I'll allow it.
Okay. She will step out around the corner and aim at the. He said one of the priests took a full blast, right? And then the other one saved?
Yeah.
She'll aim at the priest that didn't save and cast Scorching Ray.
You are able to tell his garments are definitely more seared than the others.
All right. Scorching Ray, and Do I roll my 3 attacks and then damage?
Okay.
All right. First is a 24,
That hits.
an 11,
That misses.
then a 25.
And that hits as well.
All right, so he takes 9 and 11. So 20.
And you down that priest as he hits. Explain what it looks like as that priest is vanquished.
All right, and then was this the one concentrating or the one that had casted this spell?
This is the one that had already cast the spell.
All right, and he, chanted his prayer, his word, cast it, and then as nothing happens, Sienna just leans around the corner, summons up like 3 little glowing orbs of fire above her, and then they just like beam straight forward. One hits him in the shoulder, one misses, and then the third one hits him square in the chest, dropping him.
He gasps from all of his competitors.
And then Sienna will. How far away is the tree line from us?
I'd say probably 60 to 100 feet.
All right, she will actually misty step back into the boat, into cover.
Cool.
Just all of a sudden, just like you see her, and then just there is a cloud of mist, and she is gone.
As all this is happening, Azaka and this wereman are slashing from the inside of the nets. But it seems as though the Flaming Fist knew what they were doing when they captured the beasts, as their claws basically have no effect on the rope. Bjorn?
I will stay where I am, but I will take out. Well, first I'll rage again, since my rage fell off. Then I will take out one of my hand axes and throw it at the closest guard, the first one that moved up.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. I completely missed him. And just like throwing it right besides it. And I will then hold fast my halberd and waiting for it to get to me.
All right. As the knight lands with his back against the boat on the other side of the boat as he charges, he basically watches his priest fall. He gasps in terror and then yells, "Get out of the bush! It's time for you to do your job." And you hear pounding slowly from where you saw the veggie people run into the bush, and you hear the screams, pounding starting to come out from behind the jungle. As you see large pieces of rock moving on their own, coming out of the bush, you put together that this is a giant stone golem. The knight, starts to edge his way towards the back of the boat. And from there, let me get back to the page. Okay, from there we have the veteran who's running around, who is going for where he saw the shot come from Sienna. As he starts to make his way around, he catches a glimpse of Bjorn standing there, coming up from behind the boat. He sees the hand axe whip past him and the guards that are following him. He comes around the corner and is well within range now of Bjorn as he takes his spear and he rolls an 18 to hit.
He throws his spear.
Sorry?
He throws his spear.
No, he's holding on to his spear. He's within range now. He's been able to gain the 15 feet to you. He can see you, and he's jabbing at you with his spear.
Okay. When he gets into 10 feet, I have the polearm master feat, so I can attack him when he gets in my range.
Awesome.
And that's a natural 20.
Awesome.
Pretty great crit.
Yeah. Okay, so it's double dice, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So I hit him. Give me a sec. Fuck. So that's 10, 11, 15, 17, 19 damage.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a reaction, right?
Okay.
So when I make an opportunity attack, I can't use. Yeah, no, okay, that's a bonus action. Yeah, that's it.
All right. So taking the attack, this battle-hardened soldier reels in pain as you hit him, but still he follows through with his spear for the attack of 18. Does that hit?
18 hits.
Okay. So he rolls just an 8 for damage.
So I take 4.
Yep.
And then as he pulls back, he swings again. Now that he has multi-attack and he hits, or I don't know if he hits, but he rolls for a 17 to hit.
That hits.
And that's another 6 damage.
Okay.
As the two guards towards the front of the boat start coming around, the one that you whipped your battle axe around starts making his way up to you. As he gets within range, he's around 5 feet away from you now. He circles around the battle-hardened soldier, and he attacks, missing with the first strike. And 17 again for, I believe, a hit on his second strike.
Yeah.
And that's only 4 damage. 4 piercing damage with his sword.
Okay.
The two running towards the back of the boat finally make it to the back of the boat, but they're still, I would say, 20 feet away from Menez, who is still tucked in. Yeah. And I believe, it's Akira is up.
Alright. How far away from where I can like cut the rope down?
So you're probably still about another 30 feet away for the trap.
About 30 feet. Is anybody near it?
The two soldiers in the front of the one guard and the soldier are engaged with Bjorn. The other soldier is coming around. You probably have a straight shot. They all seem kind of enthralled with Bjorn right now. It's the only one they see.
Alright, I dash towards the trap.
All right, you make it 30 feet. You are now beside the trap. I believe dash takes away your action, though, correct?
I believe so.
Well, you have 30. Don't you have 30 feet base movement?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said you had 15 feet of movement. Okay, go ahead then, man. You are at the net. What would you
Alright.
like?
So I can still do a move, an action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, I slice with my sword. What is it? 7 points damage.
And what are you hitting the net with?
My sword.
All right, as your sword smashes into the side of the ropes, it doesn't take any effect at all.
Doesn't take any effect at all.
Even as you bring forth and back your sword against the net, it doesn't seem to be cutting the ropes. This net definitely seems to be able to hold back these were creatures, and it seems to be holding back your sword as well. Okay, at that point, we have the other two guards, the guards that already ran towards the back of the boat. So Menez, you're up, and then the priest after you.
Absolutely. So Menez crouching down and just like seeing all this transpiring, she just takes like just a deep breath in and a breath out, and she puts her hand within her shirt. And she takes out this small vial, and she like just drinks this vial, and her skin starts to burn for a while, and then she just goes completely invisible. And using stealth, she starts to track where this guy in the plate armor went. Just like stealth, keeping her eyes open, also for friendly fire from their own friends. But she starts to move towards the boat where he had gone inside with her blade drawn. That's it.
So you're just basically just watching him and trying to track and see where he goes?
She's going to attack him now, actually, but she's going to, using stealth on the invisibility, she's going to make her way towards where the guy in the plate armor is, because he went within inside the boat.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say that you, with your movement, you can make it to him.
Nope,
No,
still
you're
moving.
not.
Sorry. If I could have done all of that within my 30 movement, I just need to know one thing, and that is what is he roughly doing? What is he roughly doing?
At this point, he's made his way to the back of the boat. He's peeking around the side to see if anybody's there. He's basically trying to flank the rest of the group.
Absolutely. So what I want to do is I want to get as close to him as possible, as she uses a bonus ray, and she just with a blade, just slices into him, which will make her appear using reckless attack. So she does 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
That'll hit.
And 17 plus 7, so that's 2 hits. And she does she does 6, 7, 1 second, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16. Sorry, 1 second. She slices into his armor twice, doing 48 points of damage.
You can definitely see the blade has massive effects as it's drawn away from his armor. Blood starts to ooze from his midsection as he takes a large, large hit. He goes down to one knee, looks up at Menez as she appears in front of him, and screams, "Hurry up, you piece of rock!" Alright, so there's the other priest concentrating as he's been trying to whisper this spell. Finally has the ability to cast it, as he casts Lesser Restoration on the knight. Wait. No, he doesn't. Sorry. Where does he cast? Yeah, Lesser Restoration. I don't need to be touching them, do I? No. Yeah.
I counterspell it.
Oh. Well, fine. Be that way.
Alright, I guess, hold on. Is it a level 3 or lower?
Yes.
It's countered.
Fair enough. As
No save.
the healing spell backfires, the knight eyes widen, starting to actually get a little bit nervous. The priest as well. Oh shit! And we're back up to the top. So Sienna, you are up now.
All right, and then so it'll move back out to have line of view on the rope, holding the tigers.
Yep.
And we'll cast Eldritch Blast at it.
Right on.
Yes, I know that's a warlock spell, but I get it because spell sniper's cool feat.
All right, go ahead.
All right, first is a 14 to hit.
Okay.
Second shot is also a 14.
They both just miss.
Oh damn!
The net. As they go past the knot of the net, you can see them land within about a foot of where the wire is tied down into the ground. You can definitely see that the wire shakes as the Eldritch Blast hit the ground, as the spike that's holding it into the ground doesn't look very secure. Is there any more for your turn?
Yep, that'll be it.
All right, Bjorn, you're up.
Okay, I'll swing at the injured knight with my halberd. Yeah. That is another crit.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, you are lucky as the veteran rises up his arms to block your halberd. You can almost see the sturdiness of him get ready for the defense of your hit. His AC almost seems to rise in front of you, but your crit obviously denies that as you strike the veteran.
That's for 25 damage.
Damn.
As he goes down, describe what happens as he hits the ground.
All right, so Bjorn will just take a mighty swing diagonally, and kind of you can see the halberd chopping right through the shoulder of the soldier, and kind of like momentarily getting stuck in the spine of the shoulder, but then he yanks it out. And as I have a great weapon master, I can make an additional attack on the next guard. And for 18.
That's a hit.
So he kind of like spins around and hit the other guard for 14 damage.
Okay, the guard is definitely bloodied.
That's it for my turn. Well, can I just position myself to being closer to Menace and Akira? Because like there's other guards coming out the back of the boat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not getting out of range. I'm just like kind of repositioning myself.
The golem, with unnatural speed, makes his way towards Menez.
Absolutely. It has advantage on me. That's one. And the second thing is I made a mistake. Actually, the person I just hit, I just realised, is 28 points of damage because I did it as if I did use my great weapon master, and I didn't use that. So yeah, it's 28 points of damage. That's it.
Okay. So as the golem comes upon you,
Advantage.
how close? I would imagine that Bjorn was able to get it about another 15 feet. Would that be fair to say after you tried to get back towards Menez?
If I move further than 5 feet, he gets an opportunity attack, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want that. I just want to like kind of move a little bit, just like a sidestep, so that I'm not like caught. The other guys don't get in my back. I just want to like move myself in a bit better position.
So as the golem comes upon Menez, he raises his two large stone arms in the air, and he casts slow. So it's a DC save of 17, Menez, you're looking for. And on a failed save, you won't be able to use reactions. Your speed will be halved, and you'll go down to 1 attack.
Okay. What do I get? Is it for what's the saving throw on there? Wisdom or
It is a con save.
con save? Okay. Okay. What do I need?
17.
Damn, so that's 8 plus its spellcasting thing.
It's
Plus...
not that bad. I've been at that for a while now.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. She fails, and as she goes to take another attack, she just feels her muscles, her blood, just like really solidifying. It just like slows her down.
All right, so as the golem starts to bring it back down, he multi-attacks. 2 hits. The first hit is a 28 to hit.
Oh, solid.
And the second hit is a 21 to hit.
Absolute.
All right. Let me get damage real quick on that. So that's 23 damage to Menez. for the first hit, and 18 damage to Menace on the second hit. So a total of, I believe, 41 damage to Menace.
Were you raging?
Absolutely.
So that's half.
Okay, absolutely. I'm
Thank
gonna break
God,
this.
hot damage.
Ah!
The knight,
She's blood.
oh sorry, the knight screams out to his companions, "Retreat! Let the golem take care of this."
We gotta free the were people, guys.
She doesn't have a reaction. Does that mean she can't do attacks of opportunity?
No, you cannot.
So at this point, the two guards, or the guard, the two guards that were heading towards the back of the boat run back to the priests, or run back towards the priests. They see Akira standing beside the net. And as they get closer and closer to her, they draw their swords. One of the guards swings at Akira, rolls a 16 to hit. That hit you?
My bad. What do I look at the top to hit me or not?
So you're looking at your armor class.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, it's 15. You said what?
It's at 16 to hit.
Yeah, it hits.
Alright, so that's 8 points of damage from the first swing. And he swings again as he notices his blade makes contact. He swings again for a 12. I think that misses. So he misses with his second blow. As the second guard comes in, he just dashes right past Akira and straight towards the priests, realizing that if he does get hit, he needs the healing powers. With that, we have Akira up. And you're engaged.
Okay.
You're engaged with one of the guards.
I'm engaged with one of the guards. All right. I swing with one of those swords in my hand. Let's see. Did you hear me?
No, I'm
I got
sorry.
a 15.
15?
So I got a
15 does
yeah.
hit the guard.
Does hit. Does 7 points of damage. As my swashbuckling feat, I automatically get a second swing with my other sword.
Okay.
Let's see, it's 20. So that hits him, right? For just another 4 points of damage.
All right, as your swords embed themselves into the guard, his eyes go wide and blood starts to come out of his mouth. He looks at you angrily, looking for another shot. As the priest starts again to concentrate on healing the other guard that's in or just in combat with Bjorn. That guard himself tries to run from Bjorn, getting an opportunity attack as he's trying to head back towards the priest as well.
Okay. Bjorn, seeing how Menace got hit by the golem, and he heard like the shout of pain, and like he knows that like this has to go quickly, otherwise like they're gonna be in huge trouble. He shouts to Tempest, his god, and recklessly attacks the guard that's trying to flee. That's a 21.
Hit.
That's gonna hurt.
It's not going to take much.
What?
It's not going to take much.
Well, he's gonna die. I do at least 16 damage without any rolls.
Yeah, describe how you're taking him down then.
All right. Well, he kind of turns around, wanting to flee and get away from me, and shouting out to Tempest, holding my halberd. I just like skewer in right through and throw him out in the bush behind me.
Awesome. All right, Menace, that leaves you to go.
Absolutely. So this the guy in plate mail, where is he?
I'm sorry?
The commander in plate mail, is he still in front of me?
Yeah, he's still right beside you.
Absolutely. So she attacks him again.
Here you go. Swing.
Recklessly.
Ain't no fear for barbarians.
So that's 15 plus 7, which is like 20, 22.
Yeah, 20 will hit.
So I don't have to run it again. So that one, and she does one hit. That is going to be plus 6, okay? She does 12, 13, 14 damage. As she just tries to just like, she lunges forward and just tries to cut through his plate, basically.
All right. He's even the blood is oozing from his plates now. It's just pouring down his body. Sorry, go ahead.
He just shouts to him. She says, "Yield and you will live."
He looks up to her, blood spewing from almost every orifice he has. We will never surrender. We are the Flaming Fist.
Excellent.
At that point, let's go back up to the top. The other two guards have already gone back. So, Sienna, you're up.
Sienna will cast Grease on the golem.
Go ahead.
It has to succeed on a dexterity saving throw or automatically fall prone.
Okay. What am I looking to get here?
It's dexterity save.
We got a +1. My dice app keeps shutting down. Oh, there's a 17.
I'm assuming that makes it save threshold.
So it does save?
It would use its ability scores saving throw.
Yeah, I guess he's still standing then, I would imagine.
Wait, I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
So he's still standing?
If it passes, then yes.
Okay.
But every turn it's still in there. At the beginning of its turn, it will have to roll again.
Okay, fair enough.
It says beginning and if a creature enters or starts its turn or ends its turn in the grease, it must make the save.
Okay, perfect. We'll go. Is that the end of your turn then?
Yeah.
All right, Bjorn.
Okay. There was a third guard close to me.
The other guard is already headed back towards the priests. You've dispatched, I believe, one guard and the veteran already.
Okay. How far is the closest enemy to me?
That would probably be Menez and the Golem. They're within 20, 25 feet tops.
Okay, so I will move my whole 15 feet, and since I have reach, I will attack the golem.
Right on.
See why you picked up a halberd.
Yeah. Okay. I will attack recklessly as well. So that's 18.
That's a hit.
10. So that's 13, 15, 17, 21 damage.
What kind of damage?
Slashing, I believe. Oh, okay, wait. Wait, give me a second. So yeah, I do 14 slashing damage and 7 radiant damage.
The radiant damage hits, but the rest of the damage seems to bounce off the stone golem.
Ah, fuck.
As he barely notices your hit with the halberd.
Yeah, well, this is real bad. Just let me check through what my possibilities are. Okay, well, I'll try and hit again with my bonus action. 19 to hit.
That's a hit.
And it's 3, 4. 9 bludgeoning damage.
Bounces off of the golem again,
Oh,
as he
damn it.
seems to not even flinch as your halberd comes crashing into his stone body.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, the golem again raises his arms. One coming down on top of Menez, one coming down on top of Bjorn. He rolls the 24 against Menez, as he has plus 10 to hit.
Solid hit.
What are we gonna do, guys? This is bad.
He hits for 16 damage against Menez.
Halved, luckily.
As his hand comes down across, Bjorn rolls for a 21 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
He strikes for 22 damage.
That hurts as well.
The knight, if the fact that you guys are both engaged with the golem, the knight takes the opportunity to start slowly crawling away from you.
Fuck, the knight is there.
Yeah.
I thought I'm fighting.
What's that?
I'm fighting the knight, the plate.
I know.
Okay.
As he starts, I believe, I'm not sure, but isn't an attack of opportunity a reaction?
Yeah, but can I do one?
You can.
In my reach.
You're engaged with the golem, though.
But isn't he within my reach?
If he's within 10 feet.
Yeah, he is within your reach then. Yep.
All right. Okay.
Pop him with the pointy end.
Yeah, so that's a 20, 25, 24, something like that.
Yeah, anything over 20 hits.
Okay. D10. So that's 7, 9, 13.
Oh, Dan, did you roll the dex save for the golem's turn?
No, I didn't. Let me do that now.
Because once it starts its turn, it has to roll it.
So that's 15 damage.
It's a 16 for the dex save.
If that's above its save threshold, then yeah.
I believe it's 13 on the golem. So yeah, it is.
You're rolling really good.
He's got a lot of modifiers, man. A lot. The 15 definitely takes out the knight. As the knight's starting to slowly crawl away from you, Bjorn's halberd comes across, slashes him against the back, and he falls forward, limp, on the ground.
Sweet.
The priest at this point, the last remaining priest at this point, is just going absolutely crazy at the fact that the knight has been fallen. The knight's gone. So after the knight, after the golem, we have the one guard. The guard pulls out a heavy crossbow. I believe you can catch the sight of Sienna at this point. One of the only ones really in open view other than Kira that is already engaged with one of the guards. Knowing that he's not a good shot, he aims for Sienna. Rolls a 4 to hit. He misses completely with his bow as it sticks inside into the side of the hull of the boat. At this point, it is Akira's turn.
Just a quick question, Dan. Does the golem has a 10 feet reach?
The golem?
Yeah.
I think it would, because aren't they large?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to double check.
Okay. Kira, it's up to you.
Keep forgetting I'm muting my mic. Just one quick question. If I dash and disengage, do I still get an action?
Yeah, you could use a disengage. As long as you have it as a bonus action.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna dash and disengage, and roll intelligence. Try to figure out how to undo the rope.
You wouldn't need to dash. You would just need to disengage, and then you'd be able, because you're right.
Just disengage.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I have a 20.
All right, to the intelligence check. You can definitely see as you study the knot in the quick moments that you have. If you study the knot, you believe that the net itself is basically impenetrable, but the wire that goes to the net and the spike that's holding the wire into the ground definitely seem like the weak points of this whole trap setup.
I tried to pull the hook out of the ground.
As you go around to the to where the spike is into the ground, you would have to go past the priest and two of the guards to get to it.
Oh, right. What about the you said there's a line to it that's a weak point? Where
Yeah,
is
the
it
line
at?
that goes all the way to the knot is the weak point. You could try to strike at the wire.
Alright, let's try to strike at it. And I get 20.
Yeah, okay. That'll definitely hit the wire as your sword crosses the wire. What do you get for damage?
I got, let's see, what was it? Wrong paper. 3 plus 5, 8.
8. 4 of the 5 wires that braided together make this wire holding the net fray. One small wire is still holding the net up. The weight of the 2 werebeasts inside of it seem to be straining the wire, but it still holds.
Alright, can I still use my second strike for it, or does it only count when I'm in combat?
No, you can. I'll give you a second strike at it.
Alright. I get 18.
That'll hit. You're able to hit the wire again. Won't take much.
You know what? It does 5 points damage.
Oh, the 5 points break the wire free. The net falls to the ground, but it does not come entangled right away. So the 2 werebeasts are wrestling around on the ground with each other, trying to find an opening for this net, as the wire seems to be loosening from the knot. After that, we have another guard. We have the priest and the guard.
Good job, man.
Sorry?
I just said good job, man.
As the priest casts heal on the other guard that's run back, and then the other guard pulls out his heavy crossbow as they're starting to slowly back away, especially since the net's hit the ground now. He fires one more bolt at Sienna for a 7 to hit. So all my bad rolls are on the guards, guys. For a 7 to hit, that bolt as well plunks into the side of the boat. They take 5 more steps back as a group, almost at the jungle tree line now. They're looking to escape. Menez, you're up.
Absolutely. So, because I'm slowed, what can I do? Meaning, I don't attack twice, but do I still get an attack and a movement?
Yeah, you still do get an attack and a movement, but your movement's half.
My movement is half, so I could. She disengages, yeah, because I'm within the of this column, and I travel. I would do my dash, which I can't do, but I would do my movement. My dash would be 80, but then that means can I do 40?
Yeah, with a dash, I don't see why not. As long as disengage is a bonus, and then a dash is an action. Yeah,
Absolutely. So what she's going to do is she goes directly, with her rage, towards this priest.
towards the priest.
Absolutely.
All right, you end up about 15 feet away from the priest.
Excellent. And she's just like, as she's running, she's just like, "Wah," with her silvered greatsword above her head. She's just like really pinpointing him. Just, that's it.
You can definitely see the fear on the priest's face. Now we move up to Sienna.
All right, Sienna saying that the net has fallen down, and what was the part where I had shot earlier with the magic missiles? That was like where the net comes together.
Yeah,
frayed it a bit.
Basically at the knot. Yeah.
All right, she's going to shoot at that part with Eldritch Blast.
All right.
First one is a natural 20, a crit.
That'll probably do it.
And then the second hit is a 21.
Okay, let's see what you got.
All right, first hit with the critical. 15 damage.
The knot frays and loosens. The two werebeasts start to stand as the net falls down around the sides of them. You have successfully freed them. Their rage is easily to see on their face.
And she'll shout out to them, not knowing if they understand or not. She'll just say, like, "Don't let them get away." And
All right.
that will be her turn.
I'm going to let Bjorn go as I roll the two werebeasts into initiative.
So how far am I from the fleeing people?
55 feet.
Okay, disengage is a bonus action?
Yep.
Question mark?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Okay, 55 feet. If I am... So I have my fighter skill, second wind, is a bonus action. Can I disengage and do my second wind without taking other actions?
I don't know the specifics on that. If nobody else in the group argues it, I'll allow it to happen.
I can't remember.
I think you can only do one bonus action, whatever it is. If they're both bonus actions, you can
Yeah, you can only do one bonus action.
Yeah, because you get an action and a bonus action. You can do both of those, but you can't do two of the same.
Okay. In that case, I will...
You have what you can do is, if you have second wind, means you have fighter, you have action surge. But you could do that, which lets you take another action and a bonus action.
No, that's level 2. I only have one level of fighting.
All
right. Okay, so I will use my bonus action to regain some life with that. Just give me a sec. D10. Okay, nice. So I take back 3 points of life. Basically, one of the worst I could do. Then I will just attack the beast, I guess. Might as well.
You get your radiant damage.
Yeah. Well, it's 1d6. So for 20.
That's a hit.
I hit him for 8 radiant damage. The rest don't matter, right?
Right.
So 8 radiant damage, and that's it. That's for my turn.
All right. As these halberd blows are glancing off of this giant stone golem, you realize that even your radiant damage doesn't seem to be really affecting him at all. We are going to go to the stone golem now, which means I need a dex save, right? How long does this grease last? I guess it's just there, isn't it?
Let me check. Duration's 1 minute.
Okay.
So however many rounds that is.
With my modifier, I got a 13, so I think that is a tie, but it clears, right?
I don't know how ties work when it comes to the saves.
Okay, I've always played
the it clears.
Does it? All
right. So again, the golem looking at Bjorn in front of him, and Mena's running away from him. Kind of frustrated at the scene in front of him. He knows that his master is basically laying on the ground in front of him dead. There's 3 more of his team. Golem obviously doesn't have much intelligence, but he has a great amount of loyalty to his master. Realizing that these were the 2 men that brought him down, he raises his hands again to attack Bjorn.
It's the ninja golem.
First one's 19 to hit.
I have 15 AC.
Okay. So that'll be 17 damage on the first hit. And the second hit is for 17. And that is 18 damage on the second hit.
So half of those.
35 total, half of that. As the golem smashes down on Bjorn, he raises his head up to Menez. You can see the want to get to Menez in his eyes. Stone blocked over eyes. As we have one of the guards up now. The guard basically just drops his heavy crossbow and runs as fast as he can into the bush, dashing for his action, passing the tree line, going deep into the jungles as fast as he can, leaving the other two to wait there for you. At this point, we have up Akira. As basically Azaka and this other were creature are just getting their feet underneath them. Akira, it's your turn, right before them.
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, my bad. Do I have anybody near me? Any
No.
soldiers?
No, I think, well, you have that one soldier that you disengaged, so he's about 10 feet away from you. But the priest is about, 20 feet away from you still.
I guess I dash to the soldier and slash at him.
Okay.
Let's see. +5. 19.
Yeah, that's a hit.
It only does 6 points damage.
Still, you can see the blood gushing from where your weapon entered the guard. If you want to swing again for your second attack.
Yep. Another 19.
Okay.
This time it does 3 points damage.
All right, as both of your hits successfully enter the guard, you can see blood on both of your weapons as they leave his body. He definitely took a good chunk of health there. From there, we have Azaka. Azaka turns to the group in full were form. She's still able to somehow communicate with you. She says, "You must run from that golem. He's basically indestructible. The other two will go down easy, but we have to get away." As she taps the other were-beast on the shoulder, he is fully enraged. There seems to be no humanity left in his eyes. She starts to back off towards Bjorn to see if she can give a hand. Menez, she looks to him. "You must run." Now we have him, the were-tiger male, up. As he moves forward towards the priest and the remaining guard, he basically runs as fast as he can and bowls over the priest, knocking him prone. Taking a slash at the other guard, he hits, scrapes across the guard's chest as blood starts to ooze out. You can see parts of the inside of this man through his cloak and through his chainmail. Definitely took a lot of blood and a lot of pain out of him. As he continues to swipe away in fury of hits, you can see the guard basically bloody just go down to the ground. Blood spurting up from all around him. Continually, the man were-beast just slices into him over and over again. The guard is obviously dead, but blood still flows, so the were-tiger still strikes. Menez, you're up.
Absolutely. So the priest is prone.
Yep.
Absolutely. So she, using great weapon mastery, taking -5 and attacking recklessly, attacks this crawling priest who's on the floor. It's it's first 17 -5 is 12.
First one hits, second one misses.
Oh, it's only one hit, so 12. It's just.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No worries. So,
You still add your modifier, though.
so one time.
You still add your modifier.
I rolled a 10, and then
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's okay, no worries. And then she does 16, 17, 18 points that she just carved into his spine.
So that's 18 points of damage all day, or add those two together?
In total, it would be 16, 17, 18 total. Total, just 18.
All right, you can definitely tell this beast laying on the ground has been bloodied by your attacks.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I was slowed. Was I slowed by the golem, or was I slowed by her?
You're still slowed by the golem.
Absolutely, got it.
All right, so now that the priest is dead, the guard is dead. The only one remaining is this golem. Back up to the top of Vienna.
I'm sorry, I didn't know I killed her. Is she dead? Is the priest dead?
Not dead, just bloodied and at your feet.
All right.
Sienna's still up.
No, it's Sienna's turn. All right. Hearing what Azaka said, all right. Is the golem and the priest like pinned by mana is the only like two opponents visible?
Yeah, they're the only two left, other than the one who ran into the bush, but he's 50 feet into the jungle now.
I mean, I can still shoot at him. I got like 300 foot range, or close to it.
I'm gonna go. If you do try to strike at the guard that's running in the bush, you're gonna have to fire at disadvantage.
Aiming with the negating third cover.
Yeah, just because by this point he's already behind a lot of trees, you're gonna have to fire through a bunch of different bushes and trees to get him.
Right. Sienna is. Has the grease wore out by now? I can't remember how long the turns last for.
I believe they're 10 seconds a turn, a round. So we still probably have like 20 seconds of grease left for the game.
Around, isn't it like 1 minute per round? No, 6 seconds per round.
Yeah, 6 per round. Then
so it's 10 rounds in 1 minute.
Yeah, like one turn's like 10 minutes or something like that. Anyway, but so it's still greased, right?
Yeah.
Sienna will take out her. She's got a torch. Light it and chuck it at the golem.
All right, as the torch bounces off of the golem, it ignites the grease underneath him. As the flames start to rise up around his feet, he seems to not even care. It seems like the stone that makes up his legs is not affected by the heat from the flames at all.
It's something to keep it busy. She will, I guess, then dash away towards like wherever like Azaka told her to run to.
Bjorn, that'll bring us to you.
All right. Well, I will disengage and head 15 feet towards Azaka, and once that is done, I will. Well, while I'm doing that, I'll take out a vial out of my pack with like a golden liquid inside, and I will drink my greater healing potion.
Awesome. Is that going to be the end of your turn?
Yeah.
And I believe you said you moved even closer to Azaka?
Yes.
All right. So it's up to the golem now. As the golem, I have to do the dex save for the grease. Oh, he passes.
Damn, this is a ninja golem.
The golem starts to move forward, slowly, then quicker, then quicker. As is Zaka, Kira, Menez, and Bjorn all seem to be in the same area now. The golem continues to move forward towards Bjorn. As he gets close to him, he again clasps slow, encompassing all four of you. I'm gonna need a DC save, con save from Akira, from Bjorn, and from Menez.
I'm gonna be fucking slow, bro.
I got 21.
25.
It's okay, Bjorn. Just a Dark Souls fat roll. Just keep going. You can't stop you.
What'd you get, Charlie?
Oh,
I got 24.
All right, you all passed the slow. None of you are slowed. As the golem raises his fists, he tries to bring them down on Bjorn once again. Fucking dice app, I hate it. As he swings for the first one, it's a 17. That hits for 18 points of damage, which is halved. Second attack for 24. Hits for 20.
10. So another 19.
What's the total?
You would get 19 if you're still raging.
Yeah, 19. Yeah. So that's already been halved.
Yeah.
So as the golem's fists bounce off of Bjorn and land on the ground around all of you shakes. You feel like this thing is just a monster. Possibly not even does the group with these two were creatures have the ability to take down this golem. Akira, it's up to you. What would you like to do?
how far away from the forest am I?
I'd say probably 30 feet. If you headed straight where the last guard entered the bush.
All right, I dash there and hide.
All right. You find yourself among the jungle. Nothing around you. Hopefully nothing saw you go in. At this point, we have Azaka. Azaka dashes away from this other were monster and away from Menez and away from Bjorn. She heads back to where you guys originally came out of the bush, towards the water, towards the boat. She knows Ordame is on waiting for you. She calls to all of you. Run! You must run now.
I'm gonna forget. Fuck you guys. I can only run 15 feet per turn.
All of a sudden, this male creature, this were tiger, rises up from the guard that he's completely brutalized. He sees the priest under Menez's feet, bloody but still alive. He sees Menez standing over top of her. He looks towards the golem and charges. His first 3 attacks miss, but the 4th one lands. As his claws seem to have enough magical premise to strike at this golem, he hits it for 12 damage. The first 3 strikes glancing off, the golem looks down at this were tiger, looks over to Bjorn. Up next is Menez.
Absolutely. Menez again just tries to finish off this priest. -5 reckless with advantage, so she does. That's no way. That's 7. That's 14. Well, less than that actually. And the next one is totally misses. She's almost like blinded with her rage, and she's just like cutting away at the ground that's beside.
You hit for 14 damage, I believe you said?
No, I didn't. It was 14, but -5 still.
Okay, so 9 damage.
Yeah.
All right, the priest, bloodied at your feet, still gasps for air after your barrage of strikes. Looking at you, reaching up her hand, almost in mercy. Please, let me live. As she basically takes her turn to ask mercy for Menez.
Definitely not.
Back up to Sienna.
All right. Sienna will cast grease once more on the golem, and then shut everybody. Get out of here now! And then double that, and double move dash the direction Azaka went.
All right. Do I only roll the dex save for grease at the beginning of his turn, or when you cast it as well?
I believe it's when you cast it. When the grease appears, each standing in the area must save on a saving throw.
15 on his dex save.
Jesus. Ninja golem.
I wish I was making this shit up. All right, so we got Bjorn.
Bjorn.
How far am I from Menez and the priest?
You're about 10 feet away from Menace and the priest.
Okay. All right. So I will move 10 feet to the priest. Use my action to grab him and pull him standing, and then move my 5 left feet. And while doing that, I will.
That will occur an opportunity attack from the golem.
Didn't I disengage last time?
Well, I thought his last attack he came up and struck at you twice.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, I can disengage as a bonus action, right?
Yeah.
So I'll do that and then move and then do the rest of my turn.
So you're dragging the priest away from Menace?
Yeah, well, I'll just like, because it's prone, right? I just want to like pull him up, and then I'll just, while doing it, I'll look at Menace and I'll just tell her like, for Musharib.
I think he's trying to use the priest as a shield.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay.
That's it.
Basically, at this point, the golem looks down with this were creature in front of him and at Bjorn and Menace. Frustrated again. Starts to move closer to Menace and Bjorn, knowing that these were the two that brought down his master.
Oh, grease check.
Yeah.
Grease that rock.
Good call, good call.
Come on.
16. Fuck.
Damn!
Okay. So this golem continues to move forward. The werebeast slashing at him as he's basically ignoring him. He gets up in between Menace and Bjorn. He has 10 feet of reach, so he can strike at both of them. One hand up in one direction, one hand up in the other. Brings down his giant stone fist on top of Menace for a 20 to hit. And 20 damage. Since Menace hasn't taken damage in like the last 3 rounds, is he still raging?
Is it only when I take that? I've been attacking all the time.
He was attacked.
Yeah, if you attack or take damage.
Yeah, so
yeah, so you take half of the 20. And the one down on top of Bjorn for 25 to hit. And 19.
Would it hit the person he's holding as well?
It would actually, and this is 19 to hit. I'll say that the priest takes 10 damage and dies, but as he dies, the rest of the brunt comes through the priest. The shield only blocks 10 damage and hits Bjorn for 9.
Just a quick precision. I'm not trying to use him as a shield.
Oh, you're not
like hiding behind him. If that changes anything.
No, I'd say if you were hiding behind him, then either way it would work. When his body's crumpled by the stone fist of the golem, the blow would continue through to hit you.
Okay, so how much damage do I take?
You basically 9, but if you half that, it's only 4 damage to you.
Okay.
All right, so we're back up to Akira, who is hiding in the bush.
Okay, I just roll a stealth. I got 15.
All right, you can definitely hide yourself. You're hidden in the jungle. If you wish to make your way back around to the opening to where Azaka and Sienna are, you can.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Start moving back towards there.
Okay. The male werebeast starts to attack the golem again. First 2 attacks miss. 3rd attack hits with a crit. And the 4th attack hits. Those 2 end up equaling over 40 damage as the were-tiger slashes in with his powerful claws into the stone of the stone golem. Still, the golem almost looks as if he's taken no damage and barely flinches as he strikes. Menace, is up to you.
Absolutely. What Menace does is Menace was about to just slice the head off this priest as Bjorn wrenched him up and pulled him to the side before what happened, and she heads off. She doesn't even engage, so she gives away an attack of opportunity. She sprints. She does a dash action as fast as she can. All the actions she can take. Gets to in the direction of the one that was running away.
You're going to do a dash action to see if you can catch up to him?
Absolutely.
All right. By this point, he's already had another 2 turns in between when he hit the jungle, so you can follow the trail, but you realize that he's definitely ahead of you by at least 100 feet.
Right. What she's going to try and do for the immediate thing is she's going to dash in the direction she went, and then she's going to go. The intention is like to begin to track him, and that means so she's still going to so maybe like Constitution, if that's possible, or Perception, depending on how much I can see. You know, but that's what she wants to do.
At this point, I'll take a nature check because you can to track him. You would have to follow the nature of the jungle to see where he possibly went.
Absolutely. That's a 19, 20, 21.
You could definitely follow him if you wish. You do find his trail as you head into the bush, but you realize that he is running scared.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She's hoping that there's like tripping over, there's all sorts of stuff like that, and maybe getting. And I'm just like directly just following his like. I see bits that he's dropping off. It's like he's there, and just really just everything towards this guy. That's all she's going to do.
All right. On your next roll, I'll roll a D100 and see what the percentages of you being able to make some ground up are. All right, Sienna.
All right. I mean, seeing that everybody's starting to break off. Spells. There's really not much left I can do. I guess she'll continue. She curses under her breath, saying the fact that like Bjorn's still back there, but she's not. There's nothing she can do, and she keeps on following Azaka.
All right, Azaka is basically just hanging out in the tree line at this point, watching to see how many of her companions are able to join her so that they can make their way back to the beach. Bjorn, it's up to you.
All right. Well, first I'll use my bonus action to disengage with the golem, and then kind of shouting in rage and frustration. Bjorn kind of dashes with all his might for 30 feet, and then stumbles upon some random shit on the ground and falls on the floor.
Well, what direction were you heading?
For Azaka.
All right.
That's it.
I'm going to roll a dex save on the golem. 11. The golem falls.
Oh, yes.
Finally.
The golem finally succumbs to the grease underneath his feet and falls prone, hitting the ground with a large thump. Tries to struggle his way up, but cannot make his way up. We're going to move to Akira.
Have I caught up with the guy yet?
On this turn, you'll be able to catch up with Azaka and Sienna.
Alright, I'm just still headed towards her.
All right, so you are able to rejoin the group at the end of your movement. Menez, where are you heading, man?
Absolutely. So just all the stamina she can muster, she's just like just jumping over stuff, just tracking this this guard.
You have a 71% chance of catching up to, not catching up with him, but on this turn, I would say that you make up half of the distance.
Absolutely.
So if he was always continually 60 feet ahead of you, now he's always, well, he was 100 feet, so now he's only 50 feet ahead of you. The tracking of him becomes a little easier as you can hear his breath as he's jogging through the bush.
Perfect. What do I roll percentage dice, or or you do, or?
Yeah, no, I just rolled. You got out of a D100, you got 71, so I gave you half the distance. At this point, I'm going to say that the werebeast, the were-tiger man male, basically jumps on top of the golem at this point, slashing at his eyes. All all 4 of his attacks miss, but his enraged werebeast form is now basically just concentrating on this golem as he's standing on his chest. Sienna?
She will.
Azaka says we should head for the beach.
She will go. Good idea. Let's go now.
Bjorn?
All right. Well, after falling off the ground, Bjorn would kind of like tumble away and scramble his way back up to his feet, and then walk 7 feet further. That's it.
All right, I would say you're about halfway back to the tree line then. The golem, with one hand, grasps on to the werebeast on his chest and throws him 40 feet to the right. He stands up, and he heads into the bush after Menes at an unruly speed. Dashes for 50 feet. I'd say he's probably 70 feet behind you now, Menes. The guard in front of you is 50 feet ahead of you. The rest of the group, I would imagine at this point, Sienna, Akira, and Azaka starting to fade into the jungle, heading back towards the beach, slowly waiting for their friend Bjorn. What are you doing?
Can I just Bjorn wants to scream out, like, get the survivor. We can't let him escape. That's it.
Menes, are you going to dash towards the guard again?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'll run another percentage check for you. And with this, the guard is still able to stay 50 feet ahead of you, as you are probably, I would imagine with your dash at this point, over 120 feet inside the tree line of your bush, heading away from the beach.
Absolutely. She continues. Her lungs are like burning and like sweat's coming out of her eye. You know, she's pouring down with sweat and stuff, and she just like it's getting sorry.
The golem dashes again towards you, probably again 70 feet behind you. Just to give Bjorn, you're still in the clearing at this point. What would you like to do? Still, are you going to continue making your way back to the boat from this point?
Yeah.
All right.
I can't catch up.
So as the rest of the group are making their way back to the boat, as Zach is leading them through the jungle, the were male is on the heels of the golem, slashing at his calves as he's going, but having really not much effect. The golem still moving forward. Bjorn is starting to feel as though this chase is futile. This guard ahead of him, always seeming to stay ahead of him, moving through the bush with purpose. Mena is not knowing where he's going, but definitely starting to realize and tire from the race. If you're going to dash again, we'll roll another percentage check, but I'm going to get you to roll a con save.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping that my constitution, is stronger than his. And she goes again. Absolutely.
All right, you had a 35 on your percentage roll, so the guard is still able to stay at the same distance ahead of you.
Yeah,
and roll your con save for me.
I am 17 plus 7.
With Menez's rage and infuriation, she doesn't even notice any exhaustion or any points of tiredness yet. She's still continuing to race after this guard in the bush.
I just want to mention, I believe Menez has fast movement as a barbarian, right?
Yeah, but I was slowed
Okay.
because first I've got 8 because it affects my speed, right, or not? Because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm 80.
You got like one more round before the slow wears off, though.
Okay.
I got it.
So as the group is slowly making their way through the jungle, they come across a couple of bodies of smashed veggie people.
Could
The
I?
rest of them seem to have scattered. I'll give you guys an opportunity to say what else you would have done on your way back to the boat, but other than that, I'll put you on the shore, on the sandy shoreline.
Are all the veggie people we come across dead, or is there any wounded ones or no?
You haven't been able to see any moving or wounded veggie people, just the smashed ones that the golem is taking care of.
While we're running back to the boat, Sienna will. Where's this bit? Sorry, there's like 6 paragraphs worth of text on this spill. I guess she will like dismiss and then reappear Rig with her from like where he was at the boat and to back there and ask him like what's going on with the captain and everything.
Bjorn, I'll allow you to have caught up to the group. You can tell me what you did through the bush if you want, but basically you're on the shoreline as well with everybody.
Yeah, I was just like running so far behind from everybody that I was just trying to catch up and get there as soon as possible. Trying to keep an eye out wherever I saw Menace sprinting off and like kind of being worried of seeing the golem heading that way, but knowing there's not much I can do.
And Akira, you?
Well, nothing much. Just when I see the veggie people, just pat them down real quick, see if they're like carrying anything on them.
You see some sticks. None of them have necklaces. None of them seem to have any bags or pouches. Even their sticks are just busted off branches from trees. None of them have spearheads or anything like that.
Yeah, it's fine with that.
All right, so I'm just gonna go with Menez for a second here and see what happens. Menez, as you continue after this guard on this task with your percentage rolls, you definitely have the opportunity to take another chunk of distance out if you'd like to continue dashing.
Absolutely, definitely does. And as I feel that my muscles, the blood starts to loosen, just like it's almost like a numbness starts to come back into a limbs and a chest. As I'm this, maybe not yet, but soon begins to wear off.
You're basically on the heels of this guard now. You're possibly 15 feet behind. You can see him running in front of you now as he's dodging left and right through the trees. You can see him bouncing off of some. That's probably what slowed him down. At this point, he's very tired. But now, slowly, in the distance where you can tell he's running towards, you can start to hear noises,
Absolutely.
flashes, possibly men training in the distance. He's definitely running somewhere with purpose. Again, the golem, you can hear smashing through the trees behind you, and the cries and the large snarls of this wereman on its heels as well. The man is probably about 30 feet away from the opening of a clearing to what possibly could be where the noises that you hear are coming from. I would say within the next turn, you have the opportunity to catch him now that you have full movement. But by catching him, that would definitely put you in sight of what might ever be in the distance.
Got it. Yeah, she's got to do it.
You're gonna do it?
Yeah, she has to. In her mind, she has to do it.
As the guard finally comes upon the tree line, maybe 1, possibly 2 feet beyond the tree line into the opening, Menez is on top of him.
Absolutely. Cool.
As she breaks through the trees, she can see a small stone village ahead of her. seems abandoned, other than the 20 to 25 flaming fists that are standing around training, slashing with their swords back and forth. They have archery set up in the corner, and some of them are throwing spears, some of them are firing crossbows, some of them are firing longbows. If you look to the right of the small village, you see 4 more stone golems standing there, awaiting their next orders. You see 4 or 5 more knights walking around in full plate armor. You see about 12 more soldiers, and the other 8 are about guards. You see no more priests, but you can't see everything. You can only see the front of this small little village ahead of you. It is your turn. You are upon this guard. Nobody has seen you yet. It's up to you.
Reckless attack from behind.
Go ahead.
She gets 18 plus 7.
That's a hit.
And on the second attack, she wants to do what's it called? To do minus 5. Oh, totally misses. So first one on this one is 4, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
14 damage on the guard.
Yeah.
He's bloodied. He falls in front of you to his knees, still breathing. He cries out, "Ah!" In the distance, the knights.
Can I use a bonus action? Because I've got my that's my movement and my attack. No, I can't do that. It's okay.
Yeah.
For a free action, I can use possibly.
Yeah.
Okay, free action. She puts her hand inside her shirt and takes out the one of the vials, the last of this specific vial. That's all she can do. Just take it out.
As the guard falls to his knees and screams in pain, 3 of the knights turn. The ones closest to you, they see you. They see their guard on his knees bleeding in front of you. All of a sudden, the knights yell to get everyone else aware of your position. The golems all start to come to life, start to move towards your direction. You're 100 feet away from the village. The archers all lift their crossbows, their spears, and instead of aiming them at the archery targets, they're now aiming them towards you. Right before they're able to release any of their weapons, you see out of your peripherals to your left and to your right 2 priests on either side of you. Within 30 feet, they seem to have been just strolling around the opening. But they see you. They look towards you. They start waving their hands and chanting. Your turn.
I sprint back into the bush like a crazy man. And after 30 feet, or before 30 feet, she drinks a potion of invisibility.
After you finish guzzling down the potion of invisibility, the golem that was following you comes through the trees. You disappear right before it's able to see you, but you hear calls from behind you. The priests are chasing. The priests come under the opening with the golem, all the brushes around them bent down from your running through. They don't see anything. One of them finishes chanting and casts Dispel. And I'm not positive, but doesn't that dispel your potion?
I can look that up real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to, because I'm not sure. I know it'll do the spell invisibility, but I'm not sure it'll do under the potion.
My wizard spells.
I'm imagining, isn't it like a timing thing based on the direction where I've run, who acted first, and stuff like this?
Let me find it real quick. Spell magic.
I would say that they were basically able to go through the bushes where they were and meet up to you on basic angles.
All right. Here's the full description.
You're cool. Absolutely.
Range 120 feet. Choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range. Any spell of 3rd level or lower on the target ends. For each spell of 4th level or higher, the target must make an ability check using spellcasting.
You did say any magical ability or any magical effect, though, didn't you?
Any spell. All right. Hold on. On choose one creature, object, or magical effect. It has to be specifically one of those. And then they have to know what they're dispelling.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't be able to pinpoint where Menez was. They would only feel as though this golem would have blocked something. So I think that they would probably be casting it in an area. So just roll me a d6, Menez.
3.
Yeah, they're not able. I was gonna say odds they find you, evens they don't. So they're not able to. They're not able to pinpoint where Menezes are, and they're not able to dispel the potion of invisibility. As the golem busts through the woods, so does this were-tiger man beast. As he busts through the woods, he starts attacking the golem. He sees the priest coming through the bush. Everyone seems to be distracted by this were-tiger. The priests take control of the initial golem chasing you through the bush. You can hear the footsteps of everyone running to catch you in the bush. The guard itself, I believe, still alive that you ran away from, on his knees bleeding, but still able to communicate to them. You do have the opportunity to side skirt the golem and head your way back to the beach as everyone seems distracted by the were creature.
Yeah, she uses the confusion to do that, and she moves at 80. So she does a 40 plus. She does a.
It would take you about 4, maybe 5 minutes to meet the rest back on the beach. I would imagine they would have waited for you, or at least they started loading into the longboat. As Menez comes through the bush, roll me a con save.
Oh, she gets like a 3, 4. That's 10 total. No, sorry. I rolled a 3. My constitution is but it's 10.
All right, so basically, as Menez breaks through the jungle line onto the beach, all of this dashing, mad dashing, running, the whole encounter, the slow and everything finally catches up to her as she gains 1 point of exhaustion.
Absolutely. And she just like as she lands on the floor, on the sand, and like just tries to get herself up and continues making her way toward the boat.
So as she was getting up, Bjorn was keeping an eye and saw her coming and kind of catches her when she gets here and help her along for the last couple feet to get to the rowing boat.
And even as we're getting there, even as she's being helped by Bjorn, he's like explaining exactly what just happened, meaning that there's a village over there, there's things she wasn't able to get the person that she was looking after, you know, and we need to sail fast if we're going to get back in before.
Yeah, you guys are able to definitely pinpoint the area on the map that you found the ship through Menez's ability from doing the maps the whole time. You're able to get back onto the longboat. You're able to get back to Ordame. She's still in the water, anchored, waiting for you. That odd creature that went for the bird of Sienna didn't seem to come back. As you guys start reboarding Ordame's boat, she asks what happened. She looks to Sienna, she looks to Menez, she looks to Bjorn and Akara.
Sienna will look to Ordame with like a side look in her eyes and is like, I will pay you whatever it takes to get us back to town as fast as this boat can go. Whatever it takes. Go.
She yells for her first mate to raise the anchor, and she looks to the rest of you as she starts to slowly steer north.
Looking all bloody, Bjorn will look straight at Ordame and will just say like flaming fist, and then kind of move along on the boat and try to tend to his wounds.
All right, as you guys, Akira, and Menez, is there anything that you guys would like to say before we start to vote back to Nianzaru?
Sienna begins writing a letter, which I'll fill out for you later. But she signs it to Lord Byron Blunt of the Flaming Fists. And I guess once they get close enough to town where it won't take Reeg too long to fly off, she will send Reeg off to deliver this message to him.
Okay. Menez, Akira, and Bjorn, is there anything else you guys would like to do before we turn the point over into the Bay of Chult?
The only thing that she's doing is hopefully trying to rest, just to rest up as best as possible. But apart from that, she mentions about the turtle as well, and she asks to actually she doesn't speak to the captain because the captain's like busy as hell at the moment. She speaks to anyway, she speaks to the first mate, and she says, will we still have to pay a toll even though we have not brought anything back on this to the turtle god Arameg?
It depends on how Arameg's feeling today. As the first mate looks up into the sky, it's clear and the sun is beating down. Yeah, he might be a little ornery.
And she slumps back.
Are we getting a short rest on the boat?
Yes.
That's it.
Akira?
Yeah, no, I just tend to my wounds and meditate.
All right. I sent you the note, Dan, that Sienna will have written.
All right.
How long? How long did it?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
How long will it take us to sail back from where we are today?
The way that Ordame is sailing the boat and the wind that's going up, you're looking at about a 16-hour boat ride.
A 16-hour boat ride. Okay.
You guys can fully rest up if you'd like at this point.
Yeah, I'll definitely like to rest. So
Sorry?
Do we do hit dice, or how does that work?
Well, I'll just give you a full rest at this point. You can go for a long rest then. As Ordame is pulling around the northern point of Chult, and she's starting to bring the boat back into the Bay of Nianzaru, she looks out into the water distance and she sees the great turtle shell starting to slowly swim towards your boat. It seems as though the god Arameg is calling for your pittance. Now you can try to persuade Arameg to leave you be, but it would always be a good idea to sweeten the pot. And Ordame decides to tell you all that Arameg usually doesn't seem too friendly by those who can't pay.
Sienna will ask, what does he usually expect in tribute?
Yeah, what is roughly from what we know, what is the...
Well, if you're really good at talking and you have something you might need to say to him, he'll probably take about 150 gold. If you're not that good at talking, well, you might have to pay him a little more.
All right, well, I'll roll a persuasion check, which comes to 20. And tell him that we can do 150 gold and try to sweet talk him into it.
All right, if you're able to throw 150 gold into the bay with the 20 on your persuasion check, Arameg will accept the gold and start to swim away from the boat.
What is that for?
How'd I do so?
And some 50 of it will be from Sienna. She puts her share in.
Yeah. Menez takes out a couple of these gems, which are worth up to 50 gold pieces, and she puts it on the pile.
Okay. As you guys are pulling closer to the docks now, you're coming up and you're starting to be able to discern different shapes and sizes. You see a large mass of people on the docks in silver with red capes. As you get even closer and closer, you can see emblems embossed on their chests of fists. And
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How long would it take the people that I just saw to contact just naturally? No, I mean, magical, of course, they can do it like that. But to naturally contact the people at the harbour.
The ways of communication from the Flaming Fist are really unknown. They seem to be able to communicate extremely well all across Chult.
Mm.
This is bad. This is real bad, guys.
But you have no idea how they're able to do it.
Has Rig returned yet from his little delivery or no?
As you near the docks, you do see your bird slowly flying above the groups on its way back to you, yes.
How much time do we have before we dock?
6 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As the boat continues to pull up, Zaka starts to get very, very nervous.
Menez goes to the back of the boat. Menez takes a thing out of her pocket, out of her inside her sleeve. He takes a potion and drinks it. And then she slips stealthily into the water.
Okay.
Just sailing out. How dare you?
Wait.
How could you do that?
I need a stealth check, as the Bay of Chult is not without its own dangers.
Absolutely. So she's slipping into the back, from the back of the boat. And that's well, that made me laugh, guys. That's water breathing. So for 1 hour, she can breathe.
What kind of potion did you drink?
Water breathing.
All right. Give me a stealth check. See what you
As Menace sees the crowd and everything, it starts that play. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
He gets a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She gets an 8.
As Menace sinks into the Bay of Chult, close to the docks themselves, off the back of the boat, 5, 6 feet down. She doesn't feel like she needs to go any deeper than that to, stay away from the Flaming Fist on the docks. She turns her head and looks through the clear water. She sees 3 giant sharks slowly swimming up to her. Not necessarily towards her in any way, but they've noticed something rustling in the water.
Absolutely.
I imagine Menez is holding on to the rope or holding on to the back of the boat in some way, going along with it, or she just basically said,
Yeah.
I'm in the water.
Notice so she's on the boat.
As Ordame starts to dock the boat, I'll give you all one opportunity to do whatever you wish before she ties the ropes and the Flaming Fist boards your boat.
I guess Sienna will telepathically communicate to Rig. Like, was he able to deliver the message?
Yeah, I got it there, fucker.
Bjorn will look at the Flaming Fist but kind of stay a little bit in retreat. In the event that things turn sour, he could try and jump in the water, I guess. I'm gonna stay on the boat.
Akira, what would your character like to do?
Stand there in astonishment. I don't know.
Fair enough, man. The ropes are tied. Ordame has tied up all of the headermen or crew, tie up all of the sails. The boat has stopped moving. They have tied off to the dock. The plank is lowered. And the Flaming Fist, without even being invited, just start loading onto the boat. Their weapons drawn. You can see all of their weapons are silvered. They start to all surround Azaka. The captain that you recognize, the captain with a note in his hand, starts up the plank of the ship. It's Captain Blunt, I believe, is the name.
Byron Blunt is his full name.
Captain Blunt walks onto the boat, looks over to Sienna, nods with the letter in his hand. I will deal with you in a minute. He looks to Azaka. We have gotten communication. Some of our men have seen you. They've seen you change. Place her under arrest. And as his men circle Azaka, she turns her head to all of you and says, "This is not your fight. Not now. Let it be." And she places her hand behind her back. The cuffs are locked. The manacles around her feet are locked. And she is slowly escorted off the boat, down the dock, and into the town of Nyanzaru by the Flaming Fist. Captain Iron Blunt walks over to all of you. What the fuck happened out there?
With this, Sienna will walk up to him, politely, of course, and she'll look like him and look at him and look at Menace is like, "It's good to see you made it back to town. I am afraid a misunderstanding has occurred," and she will, if she can do it quietly, I'm like, "If we can discuss this a bit more privately, I can explain everything in detail."
Your note said you had something for me.
Of course.
Hand it over.
And she will hand over the 3 jewels she had kept in her hat. She had one from the dude plus an additional 300 gold.
Captain Iron Blunt looks to you. He says, this is your one favor. He pockets all of the treasure that you gave him, looks to his men, looks back to you and says, "Don't push me again, or you will not get mercy next time."
Of course, Lord Byron.
And they all leave your boat. As you guys walk off of your boat and down the docks, the Iron Flaming Fist is dispersed. They've taken your guide, presumably locked her up, you're not sure. Menez has disappeared into the water. You see a few fins in the water circling this weird little area that little bubbles are popping out of. But you don't know what happened to him. And as the 3 of you are walking down the streets of Nyanzaru, all of a sudden ahead of you there is a small commotion. There's a small group of people walking down the road towards you. And everyone seems to be separating from in front of him. As he gets closer and closer, you realize that it seems to be a merchant prince. You're not sure which one yet, but as he gets closer and closer, oddly enough, his face is so familiar. As you start to walk up to him to see if you can tell what's happening, one of his servants gets in front of you. "Excuse me. Do you wish to speak with my merchant Prince Wakanaga?" And as you basically look at his face and you're still trying to place his face, you're pushed away by his servant. You realize that this man is a split image for the werebeast that you just met. The male werebeast that Azaka seemed so into. And as you ask again, "What is this merchant prince's name?" the servant says, "This is my merchant prince, Wakanaga Otamu." And that's where we're going to end it.
Hey.
This game went much longer than it was supposed to. So I'm only going to give you 3 experience points each, but I'll give you all 2 treasure points each. Just because it took so goddamn long. I'm surprised you made it away from the golem, especially Bjorn.
I thought we would make it sooner with the grease, but it's
I was like, I'm done for. That's it. Everybody left. I'm just like that
fucking hopping bastard.
How can we fix? We got to fix your leg, man. How can we do that?
Well, with this game, I'll have enough downtime days to have normal movement speed, but even then, with every time I dash, I fall prone. But
But
now
that's
it was pretty bad.
got to change that, man. Because otherwise,
I know, but I couldn't change it with downtime days.
yeah.
Anyway, it's gonna get better now.
Hoping that thing slipped on grease was literally my last option. I had one spell left.
Yeah, well, it helped for sure.
Like, I only have one last spell I could have.
I had like 8 HP left. I was like, "Fuck, this is the end."
Right before we end the hangout, I'm gonna remind you that you guys spent $150 on Arameg. You gave 3 gems worth of 100 each to Captain Iron Blunt and 300 gold. And I don't want to have to tell you, but you still owe Captain Ordame, and she doesn't like being owed. You guys can
She
figure
will
it out.
ask her. Sienna will, like before they've left the boat, everything will look, very distraught. Or like her hair is all frayed up. It's a mess. She'll just look to her like, "All right, dearie, how much do we owe you now? Sorry for all this. Like, what do we? What's the tab?"
Ordame will look to Sienna, not the rest of you, but to Sienna, and say, "Your payment, sweetheart. Your payment is you're never getting back on my boat."
She'll look at her like, "You know what? Normal circumstances, I would take offense to that, but considering everything that just happened, sure."
She'll let the rest of you slide for now, but I can't say she's going to be super nice if you're ever back on her boat.
Absolutely. After, well, before the hour, I guess. There's,
Climbs her ass back out the water.
yeah, exactly. And she makes her way back to the tavern, and I'm assuming that hopefully she can hook up with you guys there, because I definitely want to talk.
Sienna is very angry right now, saying that you disappeared.
Oh.
Like, dearie, time for this one. All your asses owe me.
All right,
Hey,
I
I could roll a persuasion check, talk to him.
Really great adventure. I mean, I didn't expect it to go so long. I definitely didn't expect Menace to chase after the guard. That was pretty crazy and intense. What a blast, though. I'm going to end the hangout. I'm going to end the live call, and then we'll just hopefully have a couple of things to talk about after.
Right.
But thanks a lot for playing. If anybody did watch this, make sure to keep an eye on what's going on in the March of Annihilation or Tomb of Annihilation campaign. We're having a ton of fun. It keeps growing. We keep getting more players. I'm having a blast. I can't wait to play again. Cheatham is so far behind. It's sad. We'll see you all later.